Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome for Marvin Velasquez Songlists show, another spectacular Monday night, as we have the celebrity guest all the way from United Kingdom with the name of Dara. He is a UK music writer, producer, and author from London, United Kingdom, with Australian and UK top 40s Kusha Deep Music MD, live only here at Marvin Velasquez Songlists show. All right, in just a couple of minutes, will be grazing by Dara. All right. All right. Gusto ko lang po mag-update regarding po sa COVID-19. Apart from politics, of course, NVSS is not inclined with any politics things. All right. As far as I know, medyo nagluwag na po ang Metro Manila. As a matter of fact, ay nagsisimula ng magkaroon ng deliberation for vaccination with the age group of 12 up to 17 years old. So apart from eto nga at nagkakaroon po tayo ng another variant daw according to them, but the thing is we try to conquer this one, and gradually we will win this fight. And having said that, I'll be playing Beast from Wuhan, a song of hope against COVID-19. This was composed by the Farmers Award 2019 Erasmo, Rusty Malin, and performed by various artists of Erasmus Star Talents in Entertainment Management. Here we go, Beast from Wuhan.
Virus from Wuhan that grips the lives of everyone.
This 2020 superbug makes everybody feeling sad.
Life's working and socializing. This awful scourge keeps us worried.
This killer beast from Wuhan, spreading fears across the land. Together we fight against this fear of the world. Together
That was Beast from Wuhan. Okay, kita nyo, we will win this fight. This is indeed an inspiration to each and every one of us that somewhere beyond the blue, someone is creating this magnificent and amazing song collaboration with the name of Maestro Erasmo Rastimbalilin. All right. So from that Beast from Wuhan, I'll be playing my song Mambo, Samba, Cha Cha. Here we go.
Kumusta ka? Kumusta na? Kay tagal dun sa lugar tayo ay magkita. Hawak ko pa lambot ng kamay mo na hawak ko. Puso ko'y bihag mo, mahal ko. Halika na, tayo ay magsayaw na. Samba, cha-cha. Mambo, samba, cha-cha. Mambo, samba, cha-cha. Mambo, samba, cha-cha. Ikumpas natin ng sayaw, cha-cha. Sa tugtuging ito, pasabog ng samba. Bagay, saya, ang problema taglay. Kumusta ka? Kumusta na? Kay tagal dun sa lugar tayo ay nagkita. Hawak ko pa lambot ng kamay mo na hawak ko. Puso ko'y lihag mo, mahal ko. Halika na, tayo ay magsayaw na. Mambo, samba, cha-cha. Mambo, samba, cha-cha. Mambo, samba, cha-cha. Mambo, samba, cha-cha. Ikumpas natin ng sayaw, cha-cha. Sa tugtuging ito, pasabog ng samba. Ibagay, saya, imot ang problemang taglan. Oh, hey! Mambo, samba, cha-cha. 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 Ikumpas natin ang sayaw, cha-cha. Sa tugtuging ito, pasabog ng samba. Saya, imot ang problemang taglay. Bagay, saya, imot ang problemang taglay. Di ba't kay saya, limot ang problemang taglay. Mambo, samba, cha-cha.
Hi guys, I'm Marvin Velasquez. You're watching Letters of Music.
Enjoy.
Enjoy. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Enjoy!
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Enjoy!
Let's enjoy the night with our spectacular celebrity guest all the way from United Kingdom, London. All right. With the name of DAR RA. He is a UK music writer, producer, and author from London, United Kingdom, with Australian and UK top 40s Kusha Deep Music MD only here at Marvin Velasquez Songlists Show. So maglalambing po ang Bossa Nova Prince of the Philippines. Please like, comment, and share our show. Yep. And I'll be playing Kay Bathalang Mahal. Here we go.
Salamat po sa tulong nyo, Amang dakila na labis sa pagmamahal, kaawaan nyo aming mga sala. Panalangin bawat araw, biyayang hanap, sana'y dinggin at tuparin. Pagpalain po sana aming hiling. Tanging ikaw ang gagabay sa buhay namin. Kay gulo, pagsubok lamang ba ito? Labanan hanggang wakas, tagumpay ay abot kay bathalang mahal. Panalangin bawat araw, biyayang hanap, sana'y dinggin at tuparin. Pagpalain po sana aming hiling. Tanging ikaw ang gagabay sa buhay namin. Kay gulo, pagsubok lamang ba ito? Upang labanan hanggang wakas, tagumpay ay abot kay bathalang mahal. Ligaya habang buhay, pagsukot luwalhati, kay bathalang mahal, ipagpala.
And that was Kay Bathalang Mahal. My next playlist would be from the singer-songwriter all the way from Queensland, Australia, a good friend of mine, the country singer, entitled to the song Time, from Jason Brian Bigala.
Beautiful time goes with something like this. Ooh. With the leaves are falling, the seasons turning round and round. My head is turning, my life sometimes feels upside down. Time is in your hand, time can never mend, time can be a friend or a fool. With my children leaving the nest for the road, I feel the pain inside of loneliness in my home. Time is in your hand, time can never mend, time can be a friend or a fool. Ooh. I call out to you, Lord, through your strength I have hope. Even though I feel the pain, speak to me all the time. Time is in your hands, time can never mend, time can be a friend or a foe. Time is in your hand, time can never mend, time to be a friend or a foe. With the leaves are falling and seasons turning round and round, my world is turning, my life sometimes feels upside down. Ooh, ooh. Here's a little country tune called Time. Goes a little something like this. With the leaves are falling, the seasons turning round and round, my head is turning, my life sometimes feels upside down. Time is in your hand, time can never mend, Time can be a friend or a fool. With my children leaving the nest for the road, I feel the pain inside of loneliness in my home. Time is in your hand. Time can never mend. Time can be a friend or a fool. Ooh. I call out to you, Lord, through your strength I have hope. Even though I feel the pain, speak to me all the time. Time is in your hands. Time can never mend. Time can be a friend or a foe. Time is in your hand. Time can never mend. Time to be a friend or a foe. With the leaves are falling and seasons turning round and round, my world is turning. My life sometimes feels upside down. Ooh, ooh. Time is in your hand. Time can never end. Time can be a friend or a fool. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, that was Jason Brian Bigala. What an heartfelt song. And of course, I would like to shout out the lovely people around the world who is watching right now. And of course, to begin with, a good friend of mine from Science City of Muñoz, Mabaicia, Aris Montero. Thank you for watching. And Professor Alfredo Agustin is watching with the club. Wow, thank you so much. And Limpa Miranda Rivera from Pangasinan is watching. Thank you so much. And she added na imbag nga rabi kabsat, na imbag nga rabi mat kanya yung amin dito. And of course, Coach Richard Tubigon Barbadillo, MLS Opo sa lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon. Thank you so much, Coach Richard. And of course, Len Vicapulong from Missouri USA. Thank you for your unwavering support. Thank you so much for watching, Len Vicapulong. And there is Japanese people who is watching right now. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you so much. And Len Vicapulong added, awesome, Mr. Jason Brian Vigala. You nailed it. Love it. Bravo. And she added, hello to Erasmus Talents Entertainment Management. And Ma'am Alma Averi, good evening po, Sir Marvin Velasquez. And thank you so much, Ma'am Alma Averi. And of course, good evening, Marvin, she said, from the people of Japan. Arigato gozaimasu again. And yep, Of course, I'll be playing the video greeting of thankfulness from Eric Bakay Castelo. Ito po yung aking former classmates who suffered a retinal detachment and glaucoma, yung ating natulungan. Kaya nagkaroon po tayo ng Sing to Help. For this 3 consecutive Friday, nagkaroon po tayo ng Marvin Velasquez Songlists Show Special Edition for Sing to Help. So this would be his reciprocation and video of thankfulness from Eric Bakay Costello. Here we go.
Gandang araw po. Ako po ay si Eric B. Castelo na may cataract at retinal detachment sa aking kanang mata at may glaucoma naman po sa aking kaliwang mata. Ako po ay taos-pusong nagpapasalamat sa mga taong nagbigay tulong sa akin na sina Miss Len B. Capulong, Mr. Rico Garcia, Mr. Robert Ganon, Mr. James Camin, and Erasmo Malilin. At maraming salamat din sa show ng aking kaklase, si Marvin Velasquez, Songlists show, na kung hindi dahil sa kanya ay hindi ko maipaparating ang aking pangangailangan. Maraming salamat bro. Sana marami ka pang matulungan sa pamamagitan ng iyong show. At mabuhay ka. And God bless. Salamat.
Wow. You're welcome, my friend Eric Bakay Castelo. Eric Bakay Castelo is a former classmate during my high school life in Christ the King Academy. Talugtog na ba siya? He used to accompany me in all my singing contests back then. So it wasn't heartfelt for me to uh, discover that he had at a very young age. Medyo hindi naman kami nagkakalayo. I think he is older, 1 year older than me. Pero very young age to suffer those consequences because eyes is really a vital organs. Wow, losing eyesight, the tendency of that is really frightening. In spite of the fact that he is married with children, so he used to work in a company. I think he is a security guard, and unfortunately he suffered that at a very young age. So sabi ko nga sa kanya, pagka kumita pa ako ng konti, nadagdagan ko pa yan since meron na akong GCash number niya, ay matutulungan pa natin siya. So sabi ko nga, ipag-pray mo na lang ako na everything will be fine and I will be blessing you from the people who blessed me as well. So Marvin Velasquez only show is really doing well. That would be my objectives and missions in life, to bless other people in my simplest way. And as a matter of fact, I've redundantly telling this to my show that if you have a God-given talent, skills, or anything, just utilize this one to bless others, especially to those deserve less fortunate individuals who wants to just to have a simple life, to live in a normal way. If they are in sick, all right. So if you know in any form of help is a blessings. All right. So yep. Okay, Landvika Pulong, she said, hello, Kabayan Eric. My God, touch you with his healing hands. Good luck on your eye treatment. Praying for your quick healing. Thank you so much, Miss Landvika Pulong. And Mark Rich, all the way from United Kingdom. Oh, wow. We nearly see each other, Mark Rich. Thank you so much, my friend, for watching. All right, so okay, so we just need to play again this one. All right. from Kristen Stork and Jeremy Stork from his studio. They are all the way from Melbourne, Australia, not California. I've always been, switching that stuff. So my apology. With the song "Even If It Rains Tomorrow" from studio.
Driving home down that lonely road, can't stop thinking of you. When times got tough, we did enough just to make it through. We worked through all the hard times, baby, trying to get it right. 'Cause when it worked, we'd celebrate, party through the night. Even if it rains tomorrow, there'll be sunshine in your day. Like the tears that come from sorrow, lift me up, take my blues away. All the times I drove you crazy, you stuck by me. Thank you, baby. Now maybe we were meant to be. Life can be a rocky road with all its twists and turns. Now we're sailing and aiming for the life we've earned. Even if it rains tomorrow, there'll be sunshine in your day. Like the tears that come from sorrow, lift me up, take my blues. I can see amongst the stars a light that's shining through. Through the dark, it lights the way to guide me back to you. I can see amongst the stars a light that's shining through. Through the dark, it lights the way to guide me back to you. Whoa, even if it rains tomorrow, there'll be sunshine in your day. Like the tears that come from sorrow, lift me up, take my blues. Even if it rains tomorrow, there'll be sunshine in your day. Like the tears that come from sorrow, lift me up, take my blues. Lift me up, take my blues. Lift me up, take my blues away.
Wow, that was from studio. All right, my next playlist would be from a young and sweet and loving singer-songwriter all the way from Scotland, from Edinburgh, Miss Amira Prentice.
Spend all your time waiting for that second chance, for a break that will make it okay. there's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. I need some distraction, oh beautiful release. Memories slip from my veins, let me be empty. Oh, and wait, listen, maybe I'll find some peace tonight in the arms of the angel. Fly away from here, from this dark cold hotel room, at the emptiness that you feel. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. So tired of the straight line, and everywhere you turn there's vultures and thieves at your back. The storm keeps on twisting. You keep on building the lies that you make up for all that you lack. It don't make no difference escaping one last time. It's easier to believe in this sweet madness, oh, it's glorious sadness that brings me to my knees in the arms of the angel. Fly away from here, from this dark cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you feel. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. Thank you so much. So that was Angel by Sarah McLaughlin, and that was requested by Rick Monks, and I hope you enjoyed that, Rick. And to anyone who hasn't already followed my music page, it's Samira Prentice Music if you want to check out more music from me. And thank you so much to everyone for all your love and support. I hope you all have a great week.
Wow, that was Miss Samira Francis. See you soon, Miss Samira. All right. And yeah, she is here and she says, fantastic. Thank you so much, Miss Samira from Edinburgh, Scotland. And Miss Lanvi Kapulong says, Lanvi Kapulong from Missouri, USA says, awesome song studio. If it rains, there will be sunshine tomorrow, meaning there is still hope. A very meaningful song. You nailed it. Love it. Bravo. And the Lady V from Kobe, Japan. Kapatid. Okay, Vivian Hernandez passing by to greet. Thank you so much for the greetings. And Christian Store from Melbourne, from Melbourne, Australia, from of the studio. She says, "Good evening, Sir Marvin from Down Under. Best wishes to all of your viewers." Yes, I just played your EP trains, yeah, EP trains until tomorrow, something like that. And she added, "Good evening, Len. Thank you so much. Thank you very much." And Len Bicapulong added, "Hello, lovely Samira Prentice." And Dima Miranda Rivera put a lot of claps. And Len Bicapulong says, "Awesome song, Samira Prentice. What a sweet voice. You nailed it." And Freddy's not a core, a good friend of mine from Kobe, Japan, says, "Hello, brother Marvin." And Len Bicapulong says, "Christian Store, good evening. You are welcome." And Vivian Hernandez from Kobe, Japan. Len Bicapulong will sleep from now. Enjoy Marvin's show. All right. All right. And here we go. Salamat sa musika. And thank you for the music composed by Erasmo Rusty Validin, sung by international jazz debut from Kobe, Japan, Vivian Hernandez.
Mga kaibigan, kahit tamis ng ating musika, mag-awitan, magsayawan, eto na ang ating musika. Sa musikero, importante ang tono at ritmo, sa bawat himig at tempo, siguradong okay sa mundo. Salamat sa musika, sinisigaw ng damdamin ko. Dahil sa aliw mo, ang buhay ay puno ng pag-asa. Salamat sa musika, buong sanlibutan ay sumikla. Iginuhit ng panahon sa bawat isa at sa ating dalawa. Salamat sa musika, buhay ay sumaya. Veterano na sa musika, sa larangan ng pagkanta, boses mistulang tala sa ganda. Ang Pilipino kay galing-galing sa musika, lalo na sa mundo ng pagkanta, ay sadyang likas na talaga. Sinisigaw ng damdamin ko, dahil sa aliw mo, ang buhay ay puno ng pag-asa. Salamat sa musika, buong sanlibutan ay sumigla. Iginuhit ng panahon sa bawat isa at sa ating dalawa. Buhay ay sumaya. Salamat sa musika, salamat sa musika, salamat sa musika, buhay ay sumaya. Meduba-duba, pip-pop-pip, meduha, meduba-buba, salamat, salamat sa musika.
Wow. Salamat sa musika. Oh, thank you for the music. All right. So, I need to shout out the lovely people and kapatid Vivian Hernandez. Land Bicapulong enjoy a lot sis and enjoy sis. Wow. Thank you so much. And Land Bicapulong added awesome song. What a sweet voice. Lovely sis. You nailed it. Love it. Bravo. And salamat sa musika sa Kuya Rusty and kapatid Marvin. Shout out to people. Sifra. Definitely. Yep. And Miss Lim from Miranda Rivera is having this emoji. Thank you so much. And yep. All right. So my next playlist would be from Freddie Snaroko himself from Kobe, Japan, with a song "No Wrestling, No Beer."
Let me tell you, baby, you're the one that drives me crazy. Every time I think of you and all the wicked things you do, that's why you're always on my mind. I think of you all the time, and no one else will ever do, because I'm so in love with you. You know me, words can't describe the love I feel for you. You know me, words can't explain this love I feel. It's true. Why don't you take my hand? I make love to you, and we will come into the morning like a creeping through. I ain't got no work, gonna stay here all day, make love in the morning, and we'll take a break. And I ain't watching no wrestling, and I don't need a beer. No, baby, I don't need nothing as long as you're here with me. Girl, you make me high, gotta pick you up in my ride. Rolling on dubs is what we do. Anything you wanna do is cool. We can hold hands and walk the mall, or we can get to movie later on. You see, anything you wanna do is cool, because I'm so in love with you. You know me, and words can't describe the love I feel for you. You know me, and words can't explain this love I feel. It's true. Why don't you take my hand and make love to you? And we're coming to the morning like us creeping through. I ain't got no work, gonna stay here all day, make love in the morning, and we'll take a break. And I ain't watching no wrestling, and I don't need a beer. No, baby, I don't need nothing as long as you're here with me. Ain't no superplexing, girl, you're what I'm pressing. It's me and you between the sheets tonight. No power driving together, no ladder climbing. I'm coming up the top rope and doing a front splash on you.
Yeah, baby. You know, if I was in Jamaica, it'd probably sound a little bit something like this. Hey, man, give me some rubber dum, baby. Rubber dum dum, baby. Give me some rubber dum, rubber dum.
Ain't got no work, gonna stay here all day, make love in the morning, and we'll take a break. And I ain't watching no wrestling, and I don't need a beer. No, baby, I don't need nothing as long as you're here. Ain't got no work, gonna stay here all day, make love in the morning, and we'll take a break. I ain't watching no wrestling, and I don't need a beer. No, baby, I don't need nothing as long as you're here. Ain't got no work, gonna stay here all day, make love in the morning, and we'll take a break. I ain't watching no wrestling, and I don't need a beer. No, baby, I don't need nothing as long as you're here.
Wow, that was No Wrestling, No Beer. And of course, make a shout out to happy watching to Miss Marlene Manson Avisado from Talugtug, Nueva Ecija. Wow, thank you so much for watching. And to Ma'am Malu, the Comedy Love is watching. Thank you so much. And of course, I'll be playing the song from James King with a song
So welcome, James Kane.
You're everything. You made my life complete. I am with you, my love. You know the things you do. As years go by, my love will never fail. You'd never let me down in every way. My love is so strong, my love is true. No one can define the way that I feel. My love is so much, my love is so bright, that comes from the sky. Each day that passes by, each time my eyes meet yours, between my heart and know my love is so true. And if you go again, I'll beg for you to stay. There is no way I would go wrong to make me love again. You are my love, you are my happiness. I am with you, my love. I like the way you share your love. As years go by, my love will never fail. You'd never let me down in every way. My love is so strong, my love is true. No one can define the way that I feel. My love is so much, my love is so bright, that comes from the sky. Each day that passes by, each time my eyes meet yours, between my heart I know my love is so true. And if you go again, I'll beg for you to stay. There is no way I would go wrong to make me love again. Each day that passes by, each time my eyes meet yours, between my heart I know my love is so true. And if you go again, I'll beg for you to stay. There is no way I would go wrong to make me love again. To make me love again. My love is so, my love is so.
Wow, that was James Kane and Erasmo Rastavalinian song "My Love Is So." All right, and of course, I need to shout out the lovely people around the world who is watching right now. Brian Adams Ang is watching. Please like and share, po, please. Oh, thank you so much, Brian Adams. And he added "Good evening, po, idol." And Vivian Hernandez says, "Thank you." You're welcome, kapatid. And Freddy said, of course, thank you for playing my music, brother, of course, as always. And Samira Prentes says, beautiful voice. So thank you so much, Miss Samira Prentice. Hope to see you soon. I hope my visa will be granted. And I hope to see you soon. I will be having a meet and greet in Scotland soon. So I will DM you alongside with Ian Donald, Murray McIntosh, and to all the people in Scotland who's been associated with Marvin Velasquez Songlists show. We will do a meet and greet. All right, show there. I will DM you. All right, so I'll be playing one of my significant song, my first recording, been shooted in Letters of Music, Net 25, entitled Pusong Bigo, a dramatic song.
Piling ko nang ika'y lumayo, ako'y nasaktan mo. Di kita masisi, lumisan ka. Bakit nga ba ikaw tinitibok ng puso ko? Kahit na nilimot mo'y ikaw pa rin ang minamahal dito sa buhay ko. Ika'y naglaho, yakap ko'y alaala mo. Kailan pa man ikaw pa rin ang minamahal sa habang panahon. Kung di ka, paano na lang ako? Sadyang nga bang ganito ang buhay ko? Bakit na ba ikaw tinitibok ng puso ko? Kahit na nilimot mo'y ikaw pa rin ang minamahal dito sa buhay ko. Ika'y naglaho, yakap ko'y alaala mo. Kailan pa man ikaw pa rin ang minamahal sa habang panahon. Kung di ka, paano na lang ako? Sadyang nga bang ganito ang buhay ko? Sa paglipas ng panahon, mananatili ka sa buhay ko, sa puso ko. Ang minamahal sa habang panahon. Kung di ka, paano na lang ako? Sadyang nga bang ganito ang buhay ko? Sadyang nga bang ganito ang buhay ko?
Wow! Make a shout out to Sir Kix Madayag from Dubai. All right, UAE. Wow, thank you for watching. And yep. And of course, Brian Adam Ang says, tama-tama po sa akin yung pusong bigo po. Wow, relatable ba? All right, thank you so much. And Lambi Kapulong says, heartfelt song, Mr. Marvin Velasquez, every lyric is meaningful. That's why true love is but not meant to be. My heart is melting. You nailed it. Love it. Bravo. And Miss Heidi from Miss Heidi from Kuwait. Assalamualaikum. Thank you so much. And Nimpa Miranda Rivera from Pangasinan is watching. All right, now moving on. The reason why we have Marvin Velasquez on this show, celebrity guest for tonight. This would be a spectacular Monday night as we have the celebrity guest, Dara. He is a UK music writer, producer, and author from London, United Kingdom. And he also have an Australian and UK top 40s Kusha Deep Music. All right, exclusively here. Marvin Velasquez Songlists show. So let's give it up for. Hi, hello, my friend.
Hello, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. All right. So without further ado, Dara, please greet our viewers for tonight. I know in your end it's in the afternoon.
Yeah, well, look, firstly, I want to say thank you so much. It's an absolute honor for me to be on your show this afternoon. Or, you know, I think what time is it there at the moment?
Yeah, it's about 9:30 p.m. in the evening. Yes.
PM, yeah. So I just and also just a big honor to be able to talk to the wonderful people in the Philippines as well. And you know what, I'm really keen to learn more about what you guys are doing and how things are for you as much as, you know, you probably want to know about what's happening in England as well and the UK and Europe. So, you know, if you don't mind me asking you a few questions so we can get a bit more insight into how you guys tick as well, would be really awesome if you're cool with that.
Yeah, of course. All right, no worry about it. Let's just ask question in exchange, actually, to know more about you, to know more about me here in the Philippines. All right, my friend.
Yes, indeed, sir.
The people of the Philippines and Southeast Asia would like to know. I hope you won't mind me asking, who is Dara in the music industry?
So, I mean, I've been making records pretty much since I was 18. I was signed to EMI Records in the early 90s and carried on making kind of, you know, I had a few hits in the UK, #1 dance records in the 90s. And then I you know, worked for a couple of independents. We were sort of on board with some of the very first dance compilation albums and that sort of had been released in the UK. That was way before all the, you know, the kind of multitudes of Cafe Del Mars and all that kind of thing that came afterwards. So I predated kind of a lot of those kind of movements in that kind of industry, and then I went down, had an opportunity to go to Australia, and I worked in Sydney, Australia for a few years with Festival Records and remixed some of their big rock stars down there from you know, Hunters and Collectors, and we did Tears for Fears, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, you know, quite a few kind of cool people who kind of came across that kind of that's my kind of target message, as it were. And then I came back to England in 2003 and I set up my own record label called Kusha Deep Music, and then since then I've been building my catalogue of material, having a few, you know, tracks licensed to films and TV in the UK and also in America as well. And pretty much just kind of staying creative within a changing framework of the music industry. I'm really about bringing people together. It's not really just about music. It's really about creating a family. Like today, I feel like I've opened my family to you and to your listeners as well. And so every time I kind of open a sort of dialogue with people, I feel like, and we share the same belief systems, I feel that we come together as a whole and we can do amazing things as a whole rather than sort of, you know, I'm over here doing my thing. So Kusha Deep Records really is about opening up avenues and allowing kind of like artistic expression to bring people together. That's pretty much my mission statement. And, you know, and sort of as long as I'm breathing, that's pretty much what I'll be doing, because I just feel music and art is a way of transcending the realities that we see, not in a kind of escapist manner, but more in terms of us seeing kind of like what is real and what isn't real on this material plane. And so I feel sort of the more you can actually go within yourself and really sort of like look at what is actually making your life kind of happy, what's making your life sad, and working on the things that make you happy. And if art allows you to do that, then I'm doing a good job. And that's really what I do, you know, in the big scheme of things, you know.
Wow. Well said. Thank you so much for that. At least we have a bit, details from you now, so the people of the Philippines now know you more about your music and about your personality as well. Dara, how did you start in the music industry, and what was the inspiration?
Well, I was very lucky that my mother was a musician. She was a nurse, actually, first and foremost. That's how she kept the roof over our heads. But she was a musician, and so there was a piano always in the house, which I was allowed to kind of grace. And I just used to watch her. She, like, in her time off, she'd just literally be playing like boogie woogies and stuff like that. She could play classical stuff, but I was more interested in how she did that 12 bar kind of hand thing, the left hand thing. So I just used to watch her, and I was really amazed that she could do this. And then, you know, she was just an amazing woman, very supportive. She gave me the money, or lent me the money to sort of buy my first drum kit when I was about 10 years old, and allowed me to set up in the front room and just be kind of about it. And I was very lucky. And then she, again, sort of at about the age of 15, 16, she lent me the money again. I did pay her back eventually. She lent me the money to buy a small studio, which was a Tascam reel-to-reel, the old reel-to-reel tapes with a 12-track desk. And I had a little W30 keyboard set up with a sequencer, and that was sort of back in the early 90s, I'd say. And then from then on in, I was just kind of making tracks and doing live stuff. I was always involved in bands. From sort of, you know, I'm never involved in music at school, because, to be fair, I felt music was made to torture at school. Do you know what I mean? It was just boring. I never really got into it. But I was always playing kind of outside of school in different kind of bands. And, you know, I got into my first band when I was about 16 or 17. And it was a reggae band. I was really into my reggae music at the time. There was a big reggae scene in the UK, kind of like in the sort of mid to late 80s kind of thing. So I was a kid then, and toured a little bit, played with some pretty big reggae bands at the time, Misty and Roots. They were huge, kind of on that kind of reggae roots kind of tip. A lot of people would know them. Steel Pulse was another big one from Birmingham. And then I kind of moved up to London from Brighton, and we moved back to London from Brighton. And then I got a deal very quickly on with a guy called Joey Masafia. We got into the house kind of record sort of vibe. The house music thing was kicking in the sort of like early 90s, and we got signed straight away. And then from then on in, I've just been, you know, doing that, you know, making records and trying to better everything that I've done previously, become a better musician, become better at what I do, and move around genres. I'm not one for staying in the same genre. I like to kind of move around. So I kind of got bored of that. As you can tell, I move on, like, you know, I love them all, and I can reach into those kind of tips, but I'm always kind of like, and one of the reasons I left England in the sort of mid 90s is because I just felt that see, what happens in England is it becomes very obsessive, and it gets obsessed with scenes. So in the sort of 80s, it would have been like New Romantics. That would have been it, Depeche Mode, and that's what was getting pushed, which was great in hindsight, fantastic. And then it got obsessed with house music, and it kind of focused far too much on that sort of vibe. So I just felt it was very suffocating being in London, just hearing the same thing, the same kind of ideas just being banded around. So having an opportunity to leave England in the sort of mid 90s, I just took it and thought, you know, this is a good opportunity for me. I actually spent some time in Thailand just writing material, songs, back to working with guitars, and wanting to get back to kind of like, you know, writing an album that I felt was just more organic and more kind of like, you know, and that's pretty much where I've been kind of ever since. Is like I have to be able to play it on a guitar or a piano for it to make sense to me. So that was kind of like the deal, really, just kind of like getting out of the UK, because I kind of felt like it just is too obsessed with ideas and gets kind of caught up in the news cycles of, like, you know, what's going on, and sometimes it becomes quite suffocating. So it's a good idea to kind of branch out and experience other things, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like, you know, but I'm back in England now, so witnessing the same thing, that same obsessiveness about, I don't know if it's the same in the Philippines, if you guys get kind of obsessed with one news cycle or one piece of kind of style of music, or whether you're much like the Americans are much more in some ways open to kind of, you know, there's a lot, like you've got a major country music scene, you've got obviously your hip hop thing, which is probably maybe a bit too a bit too obsessed over maybe at the moment. Do you know what I mean? But they have their different, you know, rock and roll kind of scenes and this, that, and the other, and each one has its own kind of like setup and its own kind of like grassroots that feeds it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, as I say here, you know, it's just
Well, here in the Philippines,
you know what I
here in
mean?
the Philippines, mostly most viewed and the most loved music is for the millennials. Actually,
Mm.
it is a fair weather music here in the Philippines. Not
Okay.
that there's no longevity.
Right.
The millennials right now is really hunger to do this new wave, this new stuff. So the problem is there's no longevity about it. If you play that 5 years after, no one recall that one. So
Yeah, sure.
that's the problem here in my country. But the thing is, we are dealing with such thing that being a true-blooded individual, I mean, and musician, we are stood still to do our own music and be recognized and be heard. That's important
Yeah,
of
exactly. I mean,
of
look,
the
I just heard a singer that was on your show a minute ago, and I thought he was fantastic. So, you know, you know, he's holding melodies, which I think is really sort of important. That, you know, people still can sing a song with that pushes the melodic kind of range and doesn't just focus on one note being repeated over 4 minutes or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So you've obviously still got a love for melody and musical harmony sort of structures. So, you know, it looks healthy to me with that kind of guy doing a few things. Do you know what I mean? I think it looks pretty healthy. But I think, you know, at the end of the day, it's whatever the media decide they want to get behind, and if they think there's something in it for them, then they'll get behind it, and then that you know, subsequently the public will hear it, and then it becomes a thing. You know what I mean? So I mean, I think where England was kind of like really punching above its weight when sort of like, you know, the British kids at the time were, you know, taking a lot of inspiration from American blues music and kind of created a whole thing that became a scene, which became, it was the Beatles and the Stones were mainstream things, which, you know, I mean, what a healthy period of time to have kind of been around, because that was the mainstream, you know, and but now the mainstream is very much kind of a very limited thing, and that coincides with a lot of different economic structures that have changed over the last 20 years, particularly with
and Darrow, the good thing right now is we are able to utilize the social media platform right now for us to promote our music. Especially there's a lot of being a recording artist. If you want to make this your song downloadable and streamable, just simply put it in a digital platform. So easy right now. So I think this would be one of the best thing that we can take away during this.
With everything, there's pros and cons, you know, and you know, the internet has been phenomenal in terms of, like, you know, I was on radio yesterday in America, you know, here I am on the Philippines, and it's a beautiful thing. And of course, you can kind of make records and put them out sort of in an instance. You know what I mean? It does mean that sort of, unfortunately, in some ways, that the music becomes slightly undervalued. And if you look at kind of like the way artists have been treated over the last 20 years, it's been pretty horrendous. I don't think there's any other industry that you would look into that, you know, suddenly would get a pay cut when they weren't being paid at all. I mean, most musicians that are releasing records on Spotify have got a day job. They're not making records full time, so they're not able to support their art because the funds are not there. And when you've got big players like Spotify and, you know, Apple all cutting their royalty rates rather than putting them up, you know, it means that there's less money in the pot. And when there's less money in the pot, it's harder for musicians to then go about actually promoting, because the budgets are, like, for instance, you know, the budgets are kind of not there. So you have to think and become creative with how you think, because obviously you've got to use different ways of kind of creating a kind of an event, if you like, you know. So at the moment, I'm working with a company that have just created an album called We Salute You, which is about basically supporting UK veterans who have come back from victors and, you know, have post-traumatic stress disorder, you know, and we're looking to raise funds. So No Time for Tears, which is a song that I think you might have heard, has been licensed for that album, and we're pushing quite hard at the moment to really raise the kind of the awareness of that record, so we can actually do something really good, which is actually put money into veterans who are homeless, for instance.
That's good. That's good thing to know that you shared that. Music with a purpose is actually indeed awesome. Okay, guys. We as a musician is being hindered by this global catastrophe, COVID-19, and I want you to define COVID and in your own opinion. What is COVID for you? Was it a curse, opportunity, or blessings?
I mean, it's a good question. COVID has been, a devastating scenario. I think, yes, as kind of positive human beings, we have to look at what the positives are of it. But let's be honest, we could have done without it because, we were kind of in trouble anyway, kind of economically, and there was lots of turmoil going on as a result of what we had over here, which was like a divorce from the European Union. So there was a lot of stuff going on anyway that we were trying to serve, and this just came in and just took the balance out of the operation in terms of sort of our stability, and it's done humongous amounts of damage. There's no two ways about it, and it's going to take a long time for us to be able to sort of come back from it. Economically, I'm sure the Philippines are taking a terrible hit economically as well. And we've got shops, we've got employers that have not really fully been supported over here. We had a government that was was kind of asleep at the wheel when it happened. You know what I mean? So everything they did was a reaction. Do you know what I mean? We could have been so much more prepared for this because we knew back in sort of 2010 and 2000 when SARS kind of was basically if you remember, there was a
it
lot
wasn't
of
really pandemic, but it's kind of different right now.
warning signs there. Then we had a pig flu epidemic. Then we had a Mars which came out in 2016. So there was all these little kind of like, hang on, we should really start taking notice that something could happen here. Do you know what I mean? And then you look at what happened, with regards of whether you think it was coming out of a lab or where it came from a pagoda is really up to you. But my kind of logics tell me, it was a designed op for me, personally speaking. So it was hard, because no one had pretty prepped for it. And I think that I'm only talking from an English standpoint here. I'm not talking about anywhere else, but I just think, that we should have been more prepared for that situation. And, at least have PPE that was built and constructed on these shores so that it was ready to go. This is one of the greatest countries in the world. Let's make no mistake about that. This has been a pioneer country that's actually pushed forward on many, many inventions. This country invented the television. It invented the internet. It's invented various cures for disease. My grandfather created a flu vaccine during the Second World War. He was based in London in a place called Harley Street, which is one of the most famous places in the world for medical kind of like setups and breakthroughs. So out of this country, greatness has happened, but due to basically people not really kind of like managing things properly, we've just kind of let the wheels spin out of control. And COVID really highlighted just how bad leadership basically has been over the last 20 years. You know what I mean? I mean, I had a good discussion, as I say, with with a guy in America called Mike Wagner, who's got an amazing show in the States.
He was with me in my show, Mike Wagner, and I was being interviewed with his show, Mike Wagner's show.
He's a beautiful man. Do you know what I mean? But
really amazing.
We were trying to kind of say, look, when was the last time you felt like leadership was strong? I mean, actually, if I'm honest with you, I think you've got pretty strong leadership in the Philippines from what I've seen.
Thank you for that thoughts. Yes, indeed, actually.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that admire strong leaders. You know what I mean? And I think that your kind of premier has done some things that to the outside eye might seem like, whoa, that's quite extreme. But actually, sometimes you have to go hard on these situations, like, what I mean, in order for things to change. You know what I mean? Like, going hard on drugs like he did, I thought was a good call. I mean, okay, so it was a bit, at times you went, oh, that's like pushing it a little bit. But maybe in the back of his mind, he's thinking, I've got to go in hard in order to change this because it's a problem. It's a major problem. And that's, sometimes over here, people aren't brave enough to take really quite hardcore decisions to actually change things. You know what I mean? And so in some ways you've probably got stronger leadership than what we've had. And I think at least you've got someone there who's going to say no. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, particularly with with the Chinese kind of situation you got in the South China Sea, if you've got somebody that's just going to roll over and give in to whatever our Chinese brothers and sisters suggest, you know what I mean? They're going to keep.
I definitely agree with you.
You know what I mean? But you've actually got somebody that's saying, that ain't happening on my watch, and that has to be respected, because what we have, and I'm not being disrespectful, but what we've got is cave-in kind of politics, where it caves into to anyone that's strong. It just goes, oh, okay, we'll let you do this and we'll let you do that, and actually, sort of like that just gets this country's just doing that now because it's got rudderless leadership, and sometimes you kind of need somebody to come in and go, this is how it's going to be, this is where we're going, get on board, because this is where we drive, and you've got to have the vision to be able to do that. And so all hats off to kind of, I don't know because I don't spend time in the Philippines, but from what I've seen, he looks pretty strong. So kudos and respect for that. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, thank you so much. Okay, Dara, we need to shout out the beautiful people around the world. Brian Adam Ang from the Philippines, yes, is watching. Lemvi Kapulong from PA.USA is watching. Limpa Miranda Rivera from Philippines is watching. And also Miss Heidi from Kuwait, Assalamualaikum, is watching. Thank you so much. And also we have here Cynthia Garcia from Philippines, Vivian Hernandez from Kobe, Japan. And also we have here the Just Crew of the Philippines, Rico Garcia, and also the Tina Turner of the Philippines is watching. Thank you so much. Yeah, Miss Jam Mascarinhas. All right. Let's talk about your next single entitled No Time for Fear. So tell us about this next singles that you will be having.
So No Time for Tears was inspired by the Russian Revolution, and I saw a film about the last Tsar, which was Nicholas Romanov. And I was intrigued with the story of Alexandra, who was the German princess who married him. And I felt that her story was quite incredible, because when things were going wrong, that's the time when people leave you and they think, I'm going over that direction because, you know what I mean, this is going to get tricky right here, right now. And that's when you know who your friends are, man. Do you know what I mean? When things hit in the fan, right? You know what I'm saying? And so he'd made some terrible mistakes, there's no truth about it. He really didn't sort of like respect his people in the way he should do, and actually set up the people for that revolution to happen, which shouldn't. Had he been a bit more clued up and actually been a bit more respectful of his actual people, that probably wouldn't happen, because I think people are generally very beautiful in their hearts. It doesn't matter where you come from, whether you're from the Philippines, Russia, Kuwait, anywhere. We've all got the tendency to be, if we're, we've got a beautiful side, there's a dark side to it. Do you know what I mean? The core of being able to sort of control the darkness and allow the light to come in is what ultimately designs our being, and whether we leave a legacy that's a wonderful legacy or a legacy that's gone on a dark kind of edge. I've had my battles over the years, but when you look at, say, Alexandra's story, who she was really, in some ways, a bit detached from the situation and made mistakes with kind of, getting too close to, to various different places, which made her look like she wasn't in tune with the situation. That was, Rasputin is the name. So she was kind of embroiled with Rasputin, and all that kind of thing was going on. And then the First World War kind of kicked in, and it was just becoming a bit of a mess. So they get arrested by the communists, Lenin and Trotsky and all the rest of it, and they get basically taken to a small kind of part of a small kind of village, wherever it was, somewhere near Siberia. And I just, their last moments was very, very, very poignant, shall we say, because, as I say, she could have left him at any given point in time. She could have just walked away, gone back to Germany, and sort of like lived a life, and this, that, and the other, and probably he would have been just executed on his own. Do you know what I mean? But she stayed with him, and the last moment is her reaching out for him as the bullets are basically flying. Do you know what I mean? So in that last moment, I sort of thought, you know what, real love transcends everything. So when the bullets are flying, that love, when it's true, will never ever, it will never sort of like betray you. It'll always be there. So it's almost me sort of like trying to get into her mind and sort of going, okay, so we know we're going to die here, but this is no time for tears, because I love you, and if there is a life after this, that love will carry on. So that's what No Time for Tears is. It's not a political statement. It's not me saying pro-Russian revolution, pro-Tsar. You know, it's just saying that actually love transcends all, and it doesn't really matter where you fall on the political spectrum. We all really want the same things. We all want to be loved. We all want a roof over our head. We all want to eat a decent couple of meals a day, and we want to have some nice times in our lives. So we're all the same underneath. It's just we get hoodwinked with the different media perspectives that, okay, these people are over here, we have to hate them, these people are saying that, we have to, and we get divided, and we get taken off course because of the way systems kind of work. But if we just go for the love and the light every time, we'll be cool, we'll be all right, and we can come together as a world. See, now this is where I think we should be now, particularly with the internet. Let's use the internet to do exactly what we're doing. Let's share ideas on this level where, God willing, we can all come together as a whole unity, as a people, as a world, as a humanity, and we can actually leave a legacy that we left it in a better state than we found it, right? So, you know, less greed, more love, man. Do you know what I mean? That's really what I'm saying.
Brilliant. Wow. And having said that, Dara, we will be playing your song, No Time for Tears. Here we go.
Tonight
together. Just hold tight and realize you can feel this love. Just close your eyes and realize that never feel this love.
Wow, that's brilliant, actually. Make a shout out to Craig Nicholson. Thanks for watching. And Joe Finch. Thanks for watching. And she says, hi, darling. Great trap. And R&B Dumlo Katabona is watching. And Miss Len, Vika Pulong from Missouri, USA says, great song, Mr. Dara. You nailed it. Love it. Bravo. And you crush us so slow but not in the city. Wow, the team tour of the Philippines is here. All right, Dara. Since you are a writer, a songwriter, and you also a producer, what would be the best time for you to write a song? Was it during your saddest moment of your life or your happiest moment of your life?
I've also written 2 books as well. I forgot to mention. So I wrote a book called Road Tales, which is about meeting people while I was on tour from.
Yeah, you are an author as well. Yes.
Which has done quite well. Got some really good reviews on Goodreads and also Amazon as well. So that's just, but it was all about basically people's individual stories that I was meeting. I was meeting incredible people who had these kind of like incredible stories. I was just literally meeting these guys and just writing down things. And then when I got back to England, I had like 15 chapters of different kind of, and each one had like, for instance, I met this Aboriginal guy in the tablelands up in northern Queensland, and his story is about faith. So every sort of chapter has a archetype, if you like, and his was really me just examining what faith and prayer means. Do you know what I mean? Because regardless of kind of like whether you believe in whatever it is that's beyond us or not, there is definitely an unexplained kind of power that happens when you pray and you have faith. So I was listening to his story very intently, and he was with his family, and they, and he basically was telling me that he used to play mandolin in the church, right? And that, that was his thing. Every Sunday he'd get up and he played mandolin, and it was obviously a very beautiful experience for him. It was something that he just lived for doing. But one day he worked in a sheet metal factory, cutting metal, right? Like very hardcore kind of work. And one day I think he must have just kind of lost his kind of attention for a second, and this bit of sheet metal came down and actually chopped his hand clean off. And they managed to get it into hospital. They sewed it back on again, but they said it would never work. It would just be a clump. But he said to me, and he had these piercing blue eyes, beautiful Aboriginal face. And he said to me, he was like a Messiah type character, real kind of strong energy. And he looked me in the eyes and he said, you know what? I just had faith and I prayed and I prayed. And he said, within 18 months, I got the use of my hand back. And I went back into church and people were like, oh no, this is going to be a train wreck. Do you know what I mean? And he said he picked the mandolin up 18 months later and played like he'd never played before. So I was just blown by that story. I just thought, wow, how does that work? So instead of me trying to say, you must be religious, it's more clear, it's better for me to just go, look at this story. When you use the power of faith and the power of using your prayer, that magical things, healing can happen. And I just thought, wow. So every story's there's 15 chapters in that book of these incredible people that I met while, out in Guatemala, in South America, in Thailand, across the Middle East. I toured right across the world, you know what I mean? And just, as I say, met some people that were just really kind of moving mountains with different experiences, but they were sort of everyday people that wouldn't have got their story told. So I put that out in 2016, 2017, and then I've written another book called The Night That Jimmy Died, which is just about this girl who's able to channel the spirit of Jimi Hendrix, and she finds a way of using frequencies to change people's DNA structures and actually creates a kind of an awakening, if you like, through her music. So that's kind of The Night That Jimmy Died. So there's 2 books, one's fiction, one's a factual scenario, and so both those books are out as well. And then, but obviously, to just answer your question about how does a song occur? Is it when I'm happy or is it when I'm sad? So it's really kind of like, you know, I think I like to call myself an artist, but when you are an artist, I think you're just looking at the 360 spectrum of life. And so, you know, if something kind of good's happening, then, you know, you'd want to write about that. If you see something happening that you think needs to be sort of checked or, you know, looked at, then that's what you do as a writer, as an artist. It's whatever kind of comes to you. Like, you know, as long as you're open and you keep your mind open, then inspiration will just be there. It's always there. Look, you know, the thing is, right, there's this matrix that is above us. And it's a matrix that basically is full of ideas, and it's ideas that could change the world if you open up to them. So I just try and keep my mind a little bit open and just try and hear whatever it is that's coming through and let those ideas come through. So it's whatever I'm being presented at that given point in time that, you know, and also it has to resonate with me, and I have to feel that it's kind of, you know, it's going to bring, like in this No Time for Tears, you know, there's a line in there. If you look at it says, the darkness has to eventually give way to the light. And I think, you know, that's what my work is about. It's about bringing the light from the dark, you know, and wow. You know, sometimes when you're in a dark place, it's very hard to see a way out of it because your mind is closed. The doors are so closed to you being able to see a way out. And sometimes it just needs a little bit of somebody just saying, take a deep breath here. I can give you some options and let's see if we can work a way out. And then when the light starts to come in, the more you tune into it, the more you channel it, the more your mind will open up to it. And eventually, you know, your mind will actually redevelop its synapses. So you'll start to, your brain, when you stop reacting to the triggers, like for instance, if you smoke cigarettes, you want to give up smoking cigarettes, you want to look at what's triggering the cigarette, right? So you're going, so if I was talking to you saying we want to get you into a place where you could start making a decision, I'd be looking at, well, what makes you have to do that? So you'd say, oh, something happens to me in the day and it causes me. And I'd say, well, what if we were to change that reaction to go, something happens to you, but instead of you going, reaching for a cigarette, you change your vibe, you go to the gym or you put something else in the place of that reaction. It could be anything. It could be like if I asked you, what's your favorite thing that you do? What's your favorite thing that you do?
Well, mostly, personally, music, singing, something like that.
Beautiful, man. So then I would say that's your resource. So I just plug you into that and say, right, now when you're feeling that kind of whatever it is that's tempting you to do something you don't want to do, plug yourself straight into that singing, plug yourself straight into the music, get in there and just absorb yourself in it. And little by little, that thing over there becomes smaller and smaller because basically what happens is your brain starts to rewire over a period of time and the synapses change. And when you look back on your life and you look back at things you did when you were a teenager, it's almost like a different person. Why? Because basically your brain was wired up differently then, and over the years you've changed. So now you look back and you go, oh, I used to go out and drink like 3 days a week or whatever, and now you're like, I could never do that. It's because you changed. You've allowed your brain to change. So yes. in that moment we all have hope. We all have hope that we can all change if we choose to. And some people are lucky and they've got people around them that can support them. If they haven't, then they've got people like you and me that can say things like this and say, look, you know, there is a way out of this situation. You know, you've got to have faith. You've got to have faith, and you just got to be able to go into yourself and pray and say things are going to change. I am in control. Use an affirmation. I am in control of this. I am able to move out of this. The I am affirmation is one of the most powerful affirmations you can utilize in your life. So as soon as you say I am in control, what happens? You take control of the situation. So if you structure your affirmations to be literally as an I am initially, I am okay, I'm fine, I'm financially now kind of manifesting what I deserve in my life. I'm now manifesting the connections. You see what I'm doing here? I'm going, I am doing this, not in a selfish way. I am fantastic, because that's just going to defeat you at the end of the day. Yes. But if you're just plugging yourself into positive resources, and the other major kind of thing that you got to look at in terms of the kind of shall we say the universal laws is, of, you know, if you have no gratitude for what you have, you will lose it. That's just a law. It's the law of cause and effect. If you look at cause and effect, whatever you put out eventually is going to come back on you. And if you're putting out stuff like the whole karmic kind of thing, if you're putting out stuff that's actually on a negation, so you suddenly make $1 million and you just basically become self-destructive with it, then, and you didn't actually help someone else get up the ladder, with that $1 million that you just made, you go, right, how do I help my community? I put £200,000 aside for myself and my family, and then I put the rest into building my community. You see what I'm saying? Now that comes back to you because your community is now kind of thriving. They're now doing stuff, and they're going, and then they start kind of giving their £500,000 to the next situation. And then little by little, you've got people, the less crime going on because everybody's succeeding. Crime's only happening because of like people have been denied education. They've been denied kind of like an access to kind of like a route out of poverty. That's what's happening to a degree. What's happening is lack of education and lack of people coming into the communities and going, I can invest into this kind of, particularly kids, the young kids coming through, that that you're investing into those kids because you want them to be educated so they can actually be a benefit to your community. And then actually the community starts to thrive. It becomes imaginative. It starts to kind of create kind of like cures for things, or, you know, becomes like a bastions of the climate situation. It creates kind of new ideas, creates inventions, because what are we doing? We're positively reinforcing that actually you can create miracles. You can do things when you're allowed to function in a way that allows you to be a whole person rather than a damaged individual who's been told, no, you can't do that. You're not good enough. You're never going to do that. That's what we were brought up with. We don't have to do that for the next generation coming through.
Oh, wow. I'm gobsmacked, actually. We've learned a lot from you, Dara. All right. And Leslie John Bien. All right. Ben, correct me if I'm wrong. Hi there,
amazing. She's amazing. She's going to really support what you do. She's an amazing woman from Liverpool. Does incredible radio shows.
Wow. I've been to Liverpool last 2019, I think.
Next time you go, you must meet Leslie, because she's the best guide in Liverpool. She'll show you all the vehicles. She took us around. We did an amazing interview outside Strawberry Fields as well, which was really incredible.
Oh, I went to Strawberry Fields and take a selfie. But you know what, Dara? Because of that, when I was in Liverpool, of course, technically, I used to visit the humble beginning of the Beatles. Who doesn't anyway? So I went to Strawberry Field, but prior to that, I saw some emblem besides on the right sides. It says "Men Love Avenue." No one can ever approach and go there and take a picture. I was the only one who go there and take a picture. And it seems like, of course, Strawberry Fields is associated with the Beatles. You know what I mean? So many people are approaching there to take a picture, but in one simple emblem on the right side, Men Love Avenue doesn't even care any single person.
Well, that's where
I was the one approach and get into it. So because of that, Dara, we've made a significant song entitled "Men Love Avenue." It's in my YouTube channel.
Well, you must give that to Leslie, because she'll play it on her show. She'll absolutely adore that. She really will. And she does an amazing show for Vintage FM, and they're in sort of.
Wow, Leslie John Ben. And I think I need to pull up this one. Be sure to check out Dara's YouTube channel. You can a full chronology of his video track and great documentary he did on the Brighton music scene. He is on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Deezer. A full discography of all things Kusha Deep. Wow. Thank you so much. Wow. And Joe Finn says Road Tales is a great to read. Wow.
Happens to be my partner. She's a lovely girl. She's fabulous, and she runs a care home for dementia patients, actually. So she's busy kind of doing that on a day to day. And I was going in. Here's another little snippet of info for you. Here's the power of music again. So they asked me to go in and do workshops for dementia care, kind of in dementia care situation, and I did that for a couple of years, and it was really rewarding because I was using sort of like again, music will have memories attached. So there'll be music that you have that I'll say, okay, so what if I was to say to you, name a song that reminds you of being a teenager? What would it be?
Oh, it was a Filipino song, "My Love Will See You Through." It was written by a famous, a good friend of mine. That song reminds me of my late brother who died 17 years ago. Actually, ironically, we used to sing that and perform that song in a different singing contest, but we won because we are out of the budget because we are not rich family. I came from a poor family here in the Philippines. But the thing is, we use that money out, you know, to use in our college during school in the university. I think that was good enough for me to remember that
So,
song.
so every time you hear that song, that all those memories come back to you. Do you know what I mean? And
Definitely,
you know,
definitely.
that sounds like it will be tinged with a little bit of heartache because obviously you had a
Yes,
loss, but also with the joy as well that you had this experience, and you will remember that for the rest of your life. Do you know what I mean? So
definitely.
the same goes for sort of all of us. We all have these things. So this generation, obviously, we're the rock and roll generation. So when you play like Elvis to those guys, or you play Buddy Holly, or you play Eddie Cochran, or you play Johnny Cash, any of those kind of dudes, that's all got memories for those guys. So I used to use those songs, and then you probably known by the way I've talked, I've got a little understanding of psychology, and I did what is known as neuro linguistic programming. So that's basically, again, what I've been doing with you is to kind of like talk about synapses development and all that kind of side of things. And it's basically, so when you use language and you use kind of certain things to trigger thought, you can trigger thoughts basically by using language. So you're looking at options. If I say there's a front of the room, then there's a back and the back of the room, it shows you that you've got an option. There's always two sides to the situation. But within a dementia frame, so I'd use the music, and then I'd use certain questions that would actually get people to start cognitively recalling things that they did when they were kids. And it was really, some of the stories I was getting was quite incredible. So, I'd play, say, for instance, Tom Jones' Delilah, and that would get people going, quite incredibly sort of like resourceful. So, so what we were getting is like, not only was I getting movement, so they'd be shaking shakers, they'd be moving their legs. Then after the track was played, then we'd get this cognitive recall, and you'd start to see sort of like the mind just going, and then it would just come flowing out of these people who had literally about an hour before been staring at a television screen on the wall, just basically in a coma, So it shows you the power of music, of what music can do, and to trigger memories. Some of them are going to be sad, some of them are going to be happy. You don't know where you're going, so it's a bit of a risk. But 9 times out of 10, sort of like, songs will remind people of kind of like happy moments. But again, I was very lucky when I started doing it that there were some incredible people there, ex-RAF pilots who had fought in the Battle of Britain. There was like, another guy that had basically been at D-Day, the D-Day landings. He was a mechanic and met Eisenhower. I mean, and these are guys in a care home, literally just down, 20-minute drive from where I live. These amazing stories that are just, they're dying, man. And if you don't get in there and you don't go, let's talk to these guys and let's get some of these nuggets out of these people before they go and it's forgotten forever. So, the music side of things. So Joe Finch was really kind of like amazing in terms of sort of really pushing that whole thing, and getting me down there to do it. And that it was an amazing experience to kind of go and do it. And unfortunately, COVID's changed the program a little bit in terms of getting out. You can't get into those places at the moment because of the situation in terms of these very high end kind of risk. So we're not doing it at the moment, but maybe that'll change eventually. But as I say, the core of what I'm saying is that you can heal through music, and it's what brings us together. It's what kind of forges our lives. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Music tends to unite us. It's a universal language to unite every single people of the world. Wow.
It's a beautiful thing.
Okay, my friend, being the music writer, author, a producer, and with all those, achievements that you have been gathered in your musical career, what keeps you going up to this moment?
I feel there's quite a few things that keep me going. I think excellence is something that keeps me going. Do you know what I mean? The thought that one day I might achieve something that I can look back on and go, that was pretty excellent. Or I'm always looking to try and better what I do. So, and just better myself as a human being. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking every morning. Every morning I wake up and first thing I give gratitude for the being still alive. Do you know what I mean? But then secondly, I'm calling into my divine prayer to say, allow me to be better than I was yesterday. Allow me to kind of push forward, and the more I do that, the more my mind opens up to other things, and ideas become just like, I'm awash with great ideas, you know what I'm saying? So as long as I'm kind of doing that and I'm giving gratitude and with the alternative motive of actually just bringing some love into the world and some light, that's all I'm about, really. It's just doing that. So as long as I'm allowed to stay here on this planet, I just want to try and bring some positivity and bring people together as a whole, and just prove that when here's my other thing, right, is like, if someone said that if someone ever said to you, for instance, like, Marvin, you can't do that, then I would say to you, Marvin, I need to talk to you because I want to tell you that you can. Do you understand me? So
Yeah.
I'm about, when people have been broken down, it's something, I hate bullies as well. I hate people that bully people, and you know, I want to just restore people's faith within themselves, that they can actually live the lives that they want to live. And as long as we're kind of, like, as I say, leaving a positive legacy, like, you know, then it's been a journey worthwhile taking. So that's what keeps me going, and the fact that, you know, maybe one day I'll make a record that I'm really kind of like, I think, you know, that's, I mean, I am happy with what I'm doing, but I always feel I can do better. And and so I'm on to the next thing, you know, and the next idea, the next project, you know. And the other thing we're doing, we're looking at buying a place in further west, in a place called Wales, and we want to try and set up a kind of healing centre where we've got horses and we've got, like, you know, space where people can walk and get away from the cities and just kind of respite. I'm really interested in working with ex-soldiers suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, and again, sort of like having workshops on the premises that we kind of buy, for hopefully about 40 acres, so we can have a farm, we can have a kind of an area where we can do workshops, we can have people that can stay, you know, and just, you know, just be able to heal, you know, get away from the cities, be able to share and discuss ideas, make some music, have a studio set up. That's where we're going next. So I've been pretty much kind of like focused in on getting that organized this year. So although I did a load of music literally this year, I put out 50 tracks this year before May. I knew, you know what I mean? So I was really busy. If you go to my Spotify channel, you'll find there's 50 tracks on there. And then obviously I put out No Time for Tears. And I've got loads of stuff. I've been coming in from doing stuff and then literally just getting my guitar and I've got loads of ideas. So yeah, so I've got the next EP kind of in the bag, ready to put out. No Time for Tears is the single lead off that. So yeah, that's the idea, really. And now I want to get back in the studio before Christmas and just finish the Blood and Treasure EP off and get that ready for maybe late December, early next year. And then, as I say, then we're just looking at getting to Wales and setting this centre up, which you'd be more than welcome to come to and stay and have some time with us. Do you know what I mean? And
thank you.
Yeah.
Hope to meet you on December. Actually, I am planning to go there. I'm still waiting for my visa.
Well, I'll definitely meet. Where are you heading to? Whereabouts?
It's I used to stay in Tooting, London. Yeah. So,
yeah.
So,
why Tooting? That's an interesting place to be.
Yeah, there's a lot of Indian. Namaste. I will show up. I will pull up some photo, Dara, and tell us about this one.
Okay, cool. So that is basically about man's lust for greed and power, and it's a depiction of the last soldier, the last British soldier out of Afghanistan in 1880. It really is about man basically pushing for control of resources and willing to basically spill blood in order to gain treasure. and how when you look at that photograph, how futile it is really when you're drawing your last breath, and the reliance on nature, which is the horse, to keep it going, you know. And so really it's about man's lust for power, and how it basically the karma will basically reduce you to, you know, ashes at the end of it all.
Wow. How about this one?
That one was based on, this was pre-pandemic, and I just had a vision.
Oh, interesting. Wow, love it.
I had a vision basically of people being in a bubble, and sort of like everything decaying around them, but they were still kind of shopping and consuming and not really batting too much of it. They were sort of adapting to the situation and carrying on consuming in the spite of the disasters that were going around them. So it was a new kind of normal, basically, that I'd sort of seen this apocalyptic vision in a dream, and that's what artwork was. A new kind of normal, yeah. So
how about this one?
That is the front cover of London FM magazine, and it was out this year, I believe, with the EP Kings and Serfs, and that was basically out in June, I think that was. I was front cover of that, so that was quite cool. And London FM are amazing as well. Dale Oliver, who's a pretty cool character, had basically allowed me to be on the front cover. So yeah, I think I've made front cover twice on that magazine.
Oh, wow. I must have it when I meet you. Okay, let's talk about your music production. Correct me if I'm wrong. You have this UK music. What is this? Oh, okay. Let me check. Australian and UK top 40s Kusha Deep Music. Tell us about this one, Kusha Deep Music.
The Kusha Deep basically was the name that I chose for the label. I was coming back from Australia in 2003, and I was in Bangkok, and I was basically waiting for a sort of connecting flight to London, and I was on the Koh San Row, and I bought a book on Vedic history, and I was sitting in my room at night, and I was reading this book, and it was, you know, basically it was talking about pre-Mahabharata war, which was 3000 BC, and the Vedic culture was a very powerful kind of with a powerful kind of culture. It was a powerful kind of country vibe. In India was leading the way, and it, you know, so you had, like, previously to the Mahabharata war, it was a whole body. So you had Ayurvedic medicine, all right? So that was part of the Vedic kind of like setup and scriptures. You had the Bhagavad Gita, you had yoga, you had meditation, you had, you know, the Kama Sutra, you had the Kundalini kind of like energetic meditations that could raise the Kundalini energy. You know, you had all this kind of going on, this fabric of an amazing civilization. And you know, I'd always known, but the thing is, what's happened since after that situation is India became fragmented due to invasions and empires falling and gaining, and all that information became broken up. So yoga is, to most people, is a separate thing. It's got they wouldn't associate yoga with it being a Vedic practice. They wouldn't put yoga and the Kundalini together. They wouldn't put yoga and the Kama Sutra together, or meditation and Ayurvedic kind of things together. But actually, it's a whole body of information that India gifted the world, you know, and because of the way man is, it breaks things up in order to control. And so now you've got people who run around the world going, "Oh, I'm a yoga teacher," you know, and yeah, it's all very much movement and this, that, and the other. But they forget that actually it is a pure spiritual practice that was practiced by yogis and taught to their sort of, you know, disciples, if you want, and it had a premise, it had a grounding. Do you understand what I'm saying? There was a ground, it was built on a very solid ground. Now, for instance, like if you look at yoga, people talk about Pilates, which is like, it's just been taken from yoga and again broken up so people can make money out of it, which Pilates is just core yogic exercises that work
Yes.
the midriffs, but it's
Almost the same.
It's yoga. Anyway, so I'm sitting there reading this book, and it wasn't like I didn't know these things, but it really brought everything together. But I was reading this passage, and it said the words Kusha Deep, and I was like, that's interesting. And Kusha Deep basically referred to the land of Africa. So when the sort of ancient Vedics were basically trading, they would arrive in Africa, and Africa they called it the land of the tall grass, and it was rich in everything. It was a bountiful, rich paradise. And Kusha Deep, being Kusha is green, as in grass, as in multitudes of growth of goodness, of food, of fruit, and all that kind of thing that is well-being, mixed with this kind of the depth of what they were doing at the time. I just thought that is an amazing name, and I really, really love it. And so I kind of just took that idea and created Kusha Deep Records from it. So it's as simple as that, really. I just saw it, I just thought, wow. And also I thought, Africa being the land of the kind of the drum, and Western music is so influenced by the originations that came from Africa, that I felt that it was kind of, because a lot of us, well, me particularly in my generation, very influenced by sort of American blues music, and that traced that all the way back to Africa. So I felt we owed a debt of gratitude to our African brothers and sisters for what they've done musically over the centuries, and so it's the mother of like the drum. So again, it's my homage to Africa, saying thank you for the music, if you like. So
And come to think of it, African music is one of the most authentic music of all times, actually, that we ever heard.
It's beautiful. It's
Dara, I pull up this one. Please tell us about this one again, my friend. This stuff.
Okay, cool. So that is the album that we're supporting at the moment. There's my No Time for Tears is on that record, and it's a album that came out on the 11th of November, and it's about raising money for post-traumatic stress disorder, and for UK veterans, from the RAF to the Royal Navy to the Royal Marines to the British Army, and anyone who served, woman or male, and anyone that basically is in need of help. We hope to raise over £1 million basically to aid and abet the charities that support those people. So that's really what that's about, and there's some great art.
How to help? Please tell me the mechanics, how to help, and I'll be able to, so I can be able to extend my help.
Fabulous. So I will give you a link to that, but it's a label called Hangover Hill Records who is sort of actually putting that out. It's not my label, but I'll give you a link, and you can basically either order kind of copies through it, or I think you can go to Bandcamp as well. So I will give you all the details of it, and it's an early release, so we're just getting kind of the whole marketing kind of plot and plan kind of together in order to be able to tell everyone about it. And as I say, it's a long-term thing. We're not going to solve it overnight, so it's something that's going to go on for a while. But I just felt it was really important that artists really stood up and said, look, we really sort of like support where you are as human beings, because our military, regardless of whether you support what the governments have done in terms of what they put the military through, they've actually put their lives on the line to defend their country, and I think that should be respected. Do you know what I mean? So so that's really where I'm at in terms of sort of spearheading a few of those kind of ideas and trying to get people to support it. So that's where that whole ideology comes from.
Wow.
And we, as I say, £1 million.
Very nice.
£1 million is not a lot to ask to help people who have put their lives on the line. So help us out, guys. Just get in there and help us out. It'd be good.
Yeah. All right. We have here your song, one of your song, Whiskey and Honey. So I'm going to play for this, and let's talk about this one, Dara, afterwards.
Sure.
All right. So let's give it up for Dara from United Kingdom. Here we go with his song, Whiskey and Honey.
Another drink. It takes some time to think. I'll drink you all. My, hit the table, never dream I'll say I'm happy when I'm singing the blues. I shoot first, ask questions next. I'm this side of crazy. Welcome to the edge. Wanna stay up? Coming down. That's why you always find me in this part of town, where my whiskey is I'll drink you all my mind. I'll drink you all my mind. Real fantasies in my mind. All these battles won, battles lost. Lose their meaning and time. Never wanna stop, only wanna drop. Bombs on this love.
Wow, that's it's a bit off. That's the quality. Anyway, um, we can't stop that song. I need to pull up this one.
Oh, yeah. I think if you go the MP3, I don't think is kind of like giving it the kudos it should have. If you go to the link I just gave you and play it,
yeah.
If at the moment, just play it off the YouTube link. That's fine. And but let me talk about it, and then you can swing it in again. Do you know what I mean? So, Money is you know what that story is really about? Basically, somebody that has everything. You know, they have the whole world. They've got a wonderful family, but they always feel that the grass is greener on the other side. And so, it's about a guy who pretty much kind of like he's got an amazing family, but he gives it up for this neon fantasy of, like, you know, fast love and drinking and all the other sort of side of things, and then realizes that over a period of time just how empty that whole experiences are. So, you know, it's basically, I've got my whiskey and honey, but at the end of the character in the story is really very, very sad and very lonely and very empty, because you know what, making love to people that is just for the sake of it is very empty and hollow unless you feel love. The love that you feel for for a human being, when you feel the love and you make love to someone, it's a beautiful experience. You know what I mean? Empty sex is just empty sex. It's just a kind of release which is done and dusted. And there's no, when you make it as a ritual, when sex is a ritual, in terms of, like, you know, you cherish that person that you're with, and it becomes a beautiful experience. You know what I mean? So Whiskey and Honey really is about not sacrificing the relationships for, you know, for that kind of grass is green and neon kind of fantasy thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hold on to the ones you love, man, because they're the ones that get you through at the end of it.
Wow, what a metamorphic song. So, just to break the ice, Dara.
Sure.
We know for a fact that in the U.S. There has been a scandal that inclusion of Scott, Travis Scott,
Oh yeah.
Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would be your insights on that kind of music? That
Uh,
Travis Scott, been engaged with with eight people have died, and
mm,
most of them are young ones.
mm, mm, mm.
What would be your insights about this?
Um, well, first of all, it's an absolute tragedy that situation
Yeah, I'm so
would
sorry for them. Yes,
would have.
condolences with the families. Yes.
Absolutely, condolences to the families first and foremost. It's a tragedy that I think could have been avoided. Um, if we look at sort of crowding people into situations and not being able to manage that amount of people together, then you have to look at the kind of the management of that event, and questions have to be asked about why that was allowed to happen in terms of sort of not having the security, not having the facilities available to people who are, not there was 11 heart attacks, 11 cardiac arrests that happened as well. So I don't know if they were getting the medical kind of like facilities available to them. But when you've got something like 50,000 people crowded into a zone together into a small space, it's a recipe for disaster. So people need to learn their mistakes really from that situation, and be careful about having these events where there is and particularly like in the middle of a pandemic, to have
Yes.
50,000 people squashed together in a
Oh,
situation like that,
yeah.
it
Yeah.
doesn't
So
seem,
proud.
it's not sensible to me. Do you know what I mean? It's not sensible, and I think that also the acts themselves have to be kind of careful about being vigilant. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm not. Hey, look, I'm not trying to say, but had I been backstage at that point, and I'd be looking out at that, and I'd be going, this is unmanageable. This is a very dangerous situation that we've got going on here. You can pick up on things. I've heard stories that people could feel there was a tricky energy in the crowd. You can pick up on stuff when you know stuff is not right. And instead of actually doing something about it, and actually maybe stopping the show, for instance, just stop the show, because it's not worth, any amount of music's not worth losing any lives over. So I think that the show should have been stopped. I think people should have been given their money back, possibly, and then another event, 2 events maybe, where each of those people, manageable amount of people, could have seen Travis Scott if they wanted to see him, but over a couple of days, rather than trying to make all the money in one day, hit and run, and then you make a mistake like that. So
Do you believe? Do you believe on the conspiracy theory that this event, specifically Travis Scott, is on the dark side? Do you believe on that?
Well, I haven't heard any of those conspiracy theories, to be honest with you, to be able to comment on them. But I don't know Travis Scott. I don't know his music, so I couldn't really sort of say what he practices. I think that you have to look into the hip hop scene and sort of ask yourself, what does that promote? What is the general feeling of people when they're at those sort of gigs? Is it an uplifting kind of tip, or is it, what are they saying? What are they promoting? I don't know. It's not my scene. I don't know. All I know that if I was in the same position as that kind of level of kind of, being able to draw those sort of crowds, then I would definitely be going, I don't want to be doing these shows if it's going to cause a problem in terms of sort of people's well-being, because it's just, how do you live with that? How would you get up in the morning and go, you were kind of facilitated the death of 8 people and a cardiac arrest of 11 other people.
Yes.
I probably wouldn't be able to get over that. I just probably wouldn't be able to get over it. I probably would never play live again. I would question my whole involvement in the music industry, and I'd be looking at possibly doing something completely different, because I wouldn't want to ever have to have that experience happen to me again. So I think that's a life changer. I don't know anything about conspiracy stuff. All I know is that bad management has allowed that to happen.
Yes, the bad management itself, about the production, their lack of their shortcoming. Okay, Dara. In today's world, in relation with that, in today's world, we as a musician, entertainer, artist is used to be the good influencer, and we tend to inspire other people's life. What should be the best qualities of an artist being a role model into the society?
I think there's a moral compass that we need to sort of follow, but You know, as soon as you sort of somebody says, oh, you know, you need to do this, then that's going to make people go, I don't want to do that. I want to do my thing. Do you know what I mean? And it's really up to the individual to go, they've got to find their own moral compass. I can't tell anyone what to do or what to sing or how to be or what kind of vibe. I can only go from, if you like what I do and you like my philosophy, then come and be with me and we'll be part of my family. Do you know what I mean? And we'll rise together as a whole. Do you know what I mean? If you want to kind of go to see Travis Scott and be in that experience, then go and see Travis Scott. That's your tip. I'm not telling you. I just say, look, I talk personally as my own kind of vibration. I think that, you know what, just at the end of the day, it's about just doing the right thing, you know, being good, being kind of like true to yourself, but, you know, leaving a legacy that is built on the pathway to a righteous, you know, righteous level of kind of being here. It's giving thanks for what we have. It's all the things that I've said to you over the period of time. It's the moral compass that leads us to the glories of what life can be, rather than the darkness that kind of gets perpetrated. I just think that, you know what I mean? There's a lot more kind of subjects that we can talk about than sex, drugs, and money. There's a lot more. And I think that the more you focus on just those three kind of avenues, then you're kind of missing a trick, really, because there's many, many vibes that we can be talking about. Like for instance, you know, you look across the stuff I've done, and I'm not trying to big myself up as, you know, some sort of kind of like soothsayer, but if you listen to, say, New Kind of Normal, man, every single one of those every single one of those is a storyline. There's a twist to the tale. I'm never going to preach to anybody, even in this road tales thing. I'm not preaching about faith and prayer. I'm just saying it's a thing, and if you explore it, something amazing might happen for you. I don't believe in preaching to people. You've got to find you've got to kind of like experience what you experience by, you know, unfortunately human beings learn by pain. You know, that's a sad thing. They only learn by pain. We have to go through these horrific experiences because we don't learn easily. You know, if you go back to the Garden of Eden, do you know what I mean? Like everything, that storyline was like, it was about the beauty that was available to us. And I'm not saying this is real or not, because it could have been Adam that took the apple and it, you know, it was, you know, let's not blame Eve, because Eve was just doing her thing. But if you look at that parable, do you know what I mean? There's two human beings that have got everything. You know, they don't need to eat that apple, really. And this is something that I've been thinking, I've been meditating on it. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yes.
Understand what I mean by that? Just because you can doesn't mean you should, because you have the power, it doesn't mean you have to exercise that in a negative way. So because the apple's there, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to eat it. It means that it's there for something else to happen. And there's a parable in that story that if you go beyond just the kind of, oh, you know, the temptation, this, that, and the other, and if you just look at it about being grateful for what you have in the garden and not kind of necessarily going, I want more. You look at Blood and Treasure, that what I've just told you about man's lust for power. Sometimes, you know, enough is good enough. Do you understand what I'm saying? Enough money is good enough. Rather than being kind of like, okay, I make £1 million to tomorrow, right? Now I've got to, again, I told you, I've got to now utilize that money so it actually aids and benefits my community. You understand me? Because if I just spend $1 million on myself on all the stupid things that people buy, like, okay, once you've got a house, you've got a house. You know, you don't need a car that drives 180 miles an hour. Really? You don't need it. Do you know what I'm saying? As long as you've got the kind of the basic kind of necessities to get from A to B, that means you've got more money free to actually help other people. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's kind of key, you know, that we go beyond just because it's there, it doesn't mean you have to. Just because you've got a car that goes 180 miles an hour, it doesn't mean you've got to be driving around a country road hitting bends at 180 miles an hour. This is what a human being has to deal with. It's that whole kind of fragmentation of kind of like pushing in order to gain small gains, but actually lose a lot in the long run. So you look at the parable again of kind of like the apple being kind of like, you know, whatever it was that they thought they were going to get, they lost the whole lot. And this is what's going to happen here. The earth is our garden, and because we pushed it and we pushed it and we pushed it, we will lose a lot. And that's so that parable was written what 2,000 years ago, but it's a parable for today, you know. And I'm, as I say, you know, I'm not trying to preach to anyone. I'm just saying no one has to take anything I've said in this interview. You can take it and throw it out the window if you don't like what I'm saying. I'm not preaching to anybody. I'm just saying these are realizations that I've kind of made for myself. If they help you in any small way, use them, take them, grow with it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like what I'm doing musically, or you don't like what I'm saying, go and see Travis Scott. You know what I'm saying? Go and do something else. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to sort of tell anybody what to do, but I do think that we have a moral compass that we should maybe try and set it for greatness. You know, greatness happens when we plug into the greater good, the matrix, the ideas, the genius comes from reaching out to the light. It doesn't come from the darkness. What inspiration has ever come from the darkness other than destruction? So for me, if I get out of my own way by switching this off, I'm now opening my whole framework to the most amazing thought processes, the most amazing ideas. You look at Tesla. Now, Tesla was way open, man. He was not getting in his own way. So we thank Tesla for all the inventions that basically got taken away from him because he made a couple of mistakes by asking the wrong people for money, right? But look, he was open. So if you look at the alternator that runs your car, he was able to feel positive and negative kind of like energetics, literally. So he knew that sort of like the polarities between negative and positive create a combustion, which then actually aided the engine to kind of move forward, right? So Tesla was on it. Why was he on it? Because he wasn't in his own way. You know, Tesla was basically kind of like utilizing kind of free energy. Now, had he gone to the right person at the right time and talked about free energy in the 1920s, 30s, we wouldn't be there wouldn't be all these politicians flying in on their private jets talking about climate change, because we would have nailed it in the 30s or previously to that in the 1800s or whenever he was cooking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you got to look at kind of like staying out of your own way and allowing the genius to come through. And when you allow the genius to come through, you start to realize where Tesla was and use him as a kind of an icon. If you don't know who Tesla was, Nikola Tesla, then go and do your research. It's nothing to do with Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk has obviously kind of utilized where Tesla was, and he's a genius, don't get me wrong. But Tesla was unbelievable, one of the greatest geniuses ever to live. And so, but I believe that the reason he was a genius is because he wasn't in his own way. He was shutting the everyday mundane, I've got to do this, I've got to take that, I've got to get in front of that person, I've got to switch this off, I've got to do those kind of mundane thoughts that just close us down. When we switch that off, we open ourselves up to a whole new kind of universe that allows us to then really make real magic happen. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm about. And unfortunately, sort of like, you know, if you're kind of buying into the everyday kind of like scenario, the everyday music that you listen to, the everyday kind of radio that you listen to, then you're not really going to be sort of like looking at kind of the greater picture, because those people don't want you to expand. They want you to stay where you are, so you become manipulative. They can do this with you and flick you away when they don't need you anymore. So stay out of your own way and allow the genius to roll. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Wow. Thank you for sharing those thoughts, actually, Dara. And of course, Susan Umay is watching. Greetings, everyone, all over the world from California, USA. And Leslie John Ben says another Hillsborough once again. And it's Saturday.
I'll tell you what she's talking about there, if I can just tell you. She's talking about Hillsborough and Travis Scott. And funny enough, she said that because I thought of Hillsborough when I was just talking to you about Travis Scott. Hillsborough, unfortunately, was a similar thing that happened in England in 1989 when Liverpool played Nottingham Forest in an FA Cup semi-final, and basically the police had left the doors open, so all the fans who didn't have tickets rushed into the ground, and they instead of them actually shutting this kind of situation off, they allowed all these supporters to rush into the ground. And in those days they used to have metal up to stop people being able to get onto the pitch, so all these Liverpool fans got slammed up against the metal, and 99, I believe, people died as a result of that situation.
99.
Do you know what I mean? Now, if you go to Anfield, now when you go to Anfield and you meet Leslie will take you to Anfield. She took me there, and she'll show you the shrine to the 99. And those people have been fighting since 1989 to get justice, because it was all covered up, basically, and eventually it became an open story that it wasn't Liverpool's fault. It was actually the police's fault for allowing all those supporters in. So justice was served eventually, but only because they were strong enough to not be given, not being bullied. They stuck together as a community, and Liverpool is a different part of England. It's completely different. It's really a very strong community, and I've been around England. I've lived in England all my life, and I know that when you go to Liverpool, it's like going to another country. It really is, because there's a real unity there. I'm not saying everyone's golden. It's not golden, but there is you meet a cool Scouser. They call them Scousers in Liverpool. You meet a cool Scouser, I'm telling you now, they're the greatest people you're ever going to meet. They really are. They're so amazing, and they'll give you the shirt off their back. They're that kind. They really are. They're beautiful people. And Liverpool FC is an amazing club. Why is it an amazing club? Because they've never forgot their supporters. Now, I'm not a Liverpool FC fan in the respect that it's not my club. It wasn't. Well, I was more an Arsenal fan, but that was a while ago. But I love Liverpool FC, and the reason I love Liverpool FC is because they care about their supporters and they care about their community, and they're always inspiring their community to do great things. So when you come out of Anfield, they've got all these banners on the street sides going, positive, kind of like, you can rise, you can be a champion, you can do all these things. You imagine being a kid seeing it. You come out of Anfield and you're driving home, see all these positive things coming at you. You can, it's going to inspire. So we need to take a leaf out of Liverpool and go, that doesn't happen. I'm sorry, but it doesn't happen at Arsenal. It doesn't happen at Chelsea. It doesn't happen at, Tottenham. It doesn't happen like that. There's not the same thing going on there. And also, when you go and see the 99, it's very, very spiritual, because the candle's there, the shrine's there, the fans have left all their good things. You imagine no one touches that shrine. How many supporters go past that every match day? No one dares touch that, because it's a spiritual shrine. No one would dare touch it, because it radiates the power of the people of Liverpool. And that's why you have to go to Anfield. Let Leslie take you to Anfield and show you. You'll understand what I mean. It will make you cry, man. I'm telling you. It really will.
Wow. I'm excited. I'll be definitely contacting her. Okay. All right. So let's play your song again, my friend. So here we go. About the whiskey and honey.
Okay, right. Cool. Excellent.
Here we go.
Have another drink. We take some time to think. Then we'll say goodbye. Call each other out. Every time that we shout, it's over. It's over now. All this lonely game you play. Let's go the dreams we so we can do this and more. So
I'll drink you all. Hit the table, never dream I'll lose. Say I'm happy when I'm singing the blues. I shoot first, ask questions next. I'm this side of crazy. Welcome to the edge. Wanna stay up? I ain't coming down. That's why you'll always find me in this part of town, where my whiskey these brills of leaves don't leave me feeling so heavy. I'll drink you all my mind. I'll drink you all my mind. Fantasies in my mind. All these battles won, battles lost. Lose their meaning and time. Never wanna stop, only wanna drop bombs on this world. I'll drink you all my
Yeah, I got your another 2 tracks.
Yeah, so that obviously, yeah, Whiskey and Honey, we sort of, as I say, it's all about not giving your family up for neon fantasies, as it were. So, yeah, I mean, it's a tune, you know, I was quite pleased with that. There's a couple of other ones I've given you as well, so give you another, you know, that are from the New Kind of Normal album, which we also spoke about. So, yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. You know, it's a different sort of style.
Definitely. I love your music. Actually, it's kind of very authentic and different taste. It wasn't that simple. You know what I mean? You cannot compare to other music because you owned it. You have your own sound, different kind of genre, which to be, the longevity is kind of really uh, within the expectation because it sounds very authentic and unique. Wow, thank you so much. All right, Dara, if you have some valuable message to all the musicians out there in the middle of pandemic, what would it be?
Okay. Stay creative. Dig into your kind of like your inner core, in order to sort of create the greatest record you can possibly make. Um, don't don't be influenced by what's been kind of dictated to on the radio. Um, go with your, even if it means that you're going to sort of maybe make less money, but you're going to make things that actually make more sense. Like you've just used the word longevity. Think long term in terms of sort of what you're actually creating, and then just look. It's a long haul. You're not. I've made records and made money, and then I've had long periods of time when I haven't made money, and but I've held on. And in the hope that it's one day sort of like I'll make the record that I really really think was is amazing. And I have, there's some amazing records there, but it's not a sprint. It's something that if you dig into it and you dig deep, you'll create something that is like you've suggested, where you've just heard No Time for Tears, you heard Whiskey and Honey. You're hearing somebody that actually is creating a landscape that actually is. You've got to come to DAR RA basically to be able to hear that tip. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're not going to get that at a Lady Gaga gig because she's got her own tip going on. So It is very much about you kind of carving out where you're at. Like I was talking to an amazing singer from New York yesterday, and I was just saying, and actually she happens to be on the album as well, the We Salute You album. Lovely lady from New York. It's about really just carving your own niche and not worrying. You've got to be brave as well. You've got to go, actually, you know what? I don't care if mainstream don't get it. I don't care. As long as when you hear Whiskey and Honey and you get what you get out of that, that's all I care about. I don't care whether Radio 1's going to play it or your whatever mainstream person's going to kind of go, yeah, we think, you're worthy of our kind of airtime. Do you know what I mean? I don't care whether they think I'm worthy or not. It does. If they play it, good. If they don't, I don't care, because it's really about what I'm creating. I don't, if it sells one copy, again, I don't care. If it sells 10 million copies, cool. That was good. I kind of visualized that would happen anyway. But but it's not. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because I like to look back and go, there's a good body of work there, man. Do you know what I mean? And I'm proud of what I've done since 1992 when I was at Chrysalis EMI. There's not a record that I've put out that I feel embarrassed about. And I've had a lot of offers to go and make the Spice Girls thing happen, or produce for these people, or do that over here. And I've not bitten that thing because I didn't feel that it was really what I wanted to do. Yes, I've produced records for other people, but there's been things that I felt were valid artistically. Do you know what I mean? That made sense to me. I never sold out. Even with EMI and Chrysalis, like they dictated to us what they wanted us to make, and I said no, I don't want to do it. I'd rather you drop me, which they did. You know what I mean? But that was at like 20 years old. I was like, I'm not. They gave when they signed us, they gave us all these promises that they were going to do this and make us superstars and this, that, and the other. And then they gave us they signed us on the basis of like an amazing record. We made this record called Reach Out, and again, 18, 19, it was about not accepting what people are saying you can do and what you can achieve in your life. It was really about you going, look, just reach out for what you believe in and where you want to be in your life. So I had that vision from the word go. And when they signed this record, and it was doing really well. We got to #1 in all the sort of local kind of dance charts, and that record was buzzing. We had 3 or 4 major record companies phoning us up. We had Polydor, we had Big Life, amazing record company called Big Life, who had Lisa Stansfield and Yaz and all those kind of characters at the time, the Soup Dragons, loads of cool bands, The Verve. And we had them on board, and we had Island Records, And then we had EMI phone us up in the studio when we were in Wood Green, basically making, because we thought we were going to sign to Big Life. But Big Life basically didn't put, this is kids though for you, right? So you got to we were kids. But, you know, so EMI basically put like something like £20,000 on the table and said sign. And we were in the studio making a record for Big Life at the time, but they hadn't, Jazz Summers, who was an amazing maverick, he broke Wham in China. Amazing guy, right? And he basically had gone to America with Lisa Stansfield at the time, and so he wasn't around. So he just stuck us, beautiful man, sticks us in a studio, in this amazing studio in Wood Green in North London, and we're sitting there, and suddenly the phone rings, and it's like, it's EMI. You know what I mean? And I saw on the phone, they're going, look, we really love this record. Come in, man. We want to do something with it. And we're like, oh, we're in the middle of signing this deal with kind of Big Life. Do you know what I mean? He said, look, whatever they're offering you, we'll double it. Do you know what I mean? So we're like, you're 18, 19. What are you going to do? You're going to go, okay, then. So
haven't you tried modeling or in acting, Dara?
I've done a little bit of acting. Yeah, I can talk to. Yeah, I've done a few bits and pieces in the past, but yeah. So anyway, so we got in the office with those guys. They put the money on the table and we signed the deal. But so they signed us, you know what I mean? And they gave us, they're going to put these producers that kind of deal. And then they gave us a batch of records, about that many records, like a huge pile for both of us to take away. And they just went, okay, so we want you to go away and make records like this. And I looked at my partner at the time and I joked, and I thought, we walked out of this meeting feeling really sort of like saddened and dejected. And you know what? It was a lesson to me to go, sometimes signing for the bigger money actually means that you get less control over what you do. I think maybe had we signed to Big Life, we would have probably had a bigger selling record maybe. I mean, the record itself did really quite well, but the relationship...
hold your net. Yes.
The relationship...
Yes.
The relationship between us and the label was never really that good, because I don't think they really understood us, and we didn't really like them at the end of it all. And then, as I say, because we didn't want to do what they told us to do, we got dropped, because obviously the accountant looks at the figures like after a year or two, and they go, no, they're not going to cut it for us. Do you know what I mean? And so we were let go of. So that was cool. I got another deal very quickly on. You know, but that was the 90s. You could walk out of one record deal and get another one like that. You know what I mean? So I think I got a deal with Warner Brothers after that, doing some stuff. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, and then, as I say, went out to Australia. I was working for Festival for BMG, and I floated around doing sort of like independent bits and pieces and licensing stuff. But yeah, you know, there's a lot to be said for basically just sticking to your guns and not really giving in to the highest bidder at sometimes. Sometimes the more money you negotiate can be actually more negative. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I fully understand. All right, I'll be going to play the song Rock Steady, and let's talk about this afterwards.
This one's going out to Leslie John Ben because she loves it.
Wow. All right, so let's give it up for Dara with the song Rock Steady official video. Here we go.
Oh man. Lone Wolf. What? Ow. Oh. Okay. All right.
around, you come around. Wanted me to play for you. You come around, you come around. All hell breaks loose. When I don't get down on my knees to pray to you. Rock steady, rock steady. I'm rock steady, now I'm God's the dawn. Rock steady, rock steady. I'm rock steady, now you can't leave me home. I'm rock steady now from dusk till dawn. I'm gonna keep on rocking all night long. I'm gonna keep on rocking all night long. I'm gonna keep on rocking all night long.
I think there's a valuable message in comment from Leslie John Ben, and here it goes. As I always say on my shows, everyone stay Leslie John strong and rock steady, and let's keep on rocking all night long and keep that light shining bright and beautiful and rise like the sun to a new sunrise. And also, Len Bicapulong says, awesome song, Mr. Dara. You nailed it. Love it. Bravo. Thank you so much, Miss Len Bicapulong. And she added, Leslie says, video shoot in New York by Brendan McGowan. Wow. Very nice. Please tell us a bit of that song.
You know, it's another affirmation. It's just basically saying, you know, if
the wolf thing.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's really about, you know, that the Rocksteady song really is about basically sort of saying, look, whatever happens, I'll be okay. So if you you can slate me, you can berate me, and you can try and defeat me, but I'll always basically rise and I'll always be rock steady, do you know? Because I believe in myself and I believe in where I'm going. So it doesn't matter what you say and what you think about me, I'm always going to be rock steady. So that's really what that song's about. It's about basically being true to yourself, knowing yourself, and knowing that no one's going to get you off your pathway, because you're sensitive and you're ready to kind of like defend where you're at as a human being. So really, that's where it's at. The video's a little twist on that. Do you know what I mean? The video was kind of like me and Brendan basically having a little bit of a what if moment, and we were talking, and I said, well, what if the main character in the video was a guy who is a vigilante, and he wants to clean up the city from crime and sort of, you know, and so he can't help but kind of turn into this werewolf and go about basically protecting people from criminals, and so he realizes his friend's part of the Illuminati with this sort of thing, and he decides that he's going to be a negative kind of connotation, sort of, so he wants to deal with that. He then kind of, realizes that poor lady at the end is about to be mugged, and he kind of deals with that. But no one really understands him. But he doesn't kind of care again, because he feels that what he's doing is the right thing. He wants to take criminals out of the game, and that's the way he does it. He changes into a werewolf, and so it's a kind of werewolf vigilante kind of thing. But again, he's rock steady, because he doesn't need anyone's validation. He just goes out and he does his thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's it's a little twist on the tale there, basically. But it was we also were big fans of a film called The American Werewolf in London, which was out sort of like in the 80s when we were kids. Do you know what I mean? And that always stuck with me. Do you know what I mean? So it was kind of a bit of a move on that as well. So I was really pleased with it. I thought it was a kind of cool vibe, and a little bit of horror in there, but it's there for the sort of the adult audience, if you like, who can understand what it's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. And we have here the official video of the song entitled Night Stepper. So let's play with this one once again and talk afterwards. All right. So here we go.
I'm a night waiting for the sun to come down. I'm like an eagle. When that midnight show hits the ground, I come alive all the other town. And breathing down when the film comes around. Stepping higher than the stars. Come along now when I hit the twilight hours. I get up to watch the sun come down. I ain't got no time to sleep. Never gonna miss a beat. I'm like a wolf, waiting for the moon to rise. I'm on the edge as the day gives away to the night. I'm creeping when I can't sleep into the back city. Stepping higher than the stars. We just bring it on. I got to have that stuff, see. Oh, yeah. Said I'm living. Get up to watch the sun come down. can't get enough. Hit me with the lights now, see? I'm a night stepper. I'm a night stepper. I'm a night stepper. I'm a night stepper. Night stepper. Oh, night stepper. Night stepper. Night stepper. Night stepper. Oh, night stepper. Night stepper. I can't get enough of that good stuff until dawn comes round. I'm a night stepper. Stepping higher than a step.
Who was the actor?
The credits are at the end there, actually. To be honest with you, but so, there's Natasha in there from. They're all actors from New York. So yeah, Brendan did that. He did Night Stepper, and I think he did Heart Shape, which I think we're going to finish up on. But yeah, he's a great director, and he has a lot of fun with those with doing those. He's a good filmmaker.
Yeah, and Miss Len Dicapulong from Miss USA says, "Awesome song, Mr. Dara. You nailed it. Love it.
Thank you.
Bravo. Wow, thank you so much, Miss Len." And we also our last song. I think the title is Heart Shape Peel. Wow, kind of intriguing. So, all right, so let's talk about this one afterwards. Here we go.
Give us something to hold on to, something that won't fade away. need some kind of divine will. Just to ease my hand. Give me something to hold on to. Something that won't fade away. Give me something to lift me up. Now a heart-shaped pill and a prayer to say. I need a miracle, just give me my will. I need a shot of redemption. Maybe a second chance, get back to one to ask. Cause every hit I drop, ain't no satisfaction. Give me something to hold on to, something that won't fade away. Give me something to fill me up, a heart-shaped bill out. Need a miracle, just a shot of redemption. I need some kind of divine will, just to ease my pain. Just give me something to hold on to, something that won't fade away. Give me something to lift me up, a heart-shaped pill and a prayer to say.
Wow. What does it mean? Heart-shaped pill.
Heart-shaped pill really is about somebody that's got everything and has everything. Is a millionaire, billionaire, but he's got nothing at the same time, and he's looking for something to give him redemption from the empty, hollow experience of just materialism. So it's really about you know, him looking for something and not really ever finding it until, you know, until sort of like right at the end of his incarnation, if you like, where he suddenly he finds what it is, and then you see the white light at the end of it, and he was able to sort of transcend this momentary thing, this body, this short space of span that we have on this earth, and how we fill it with illusion, and he finds something real. And so it's really about redemption, and
Yes.
hopefully you can find redemption within the period of time that you decide you want it to before you die. Do you know what I mean? That you kind of, you know, you're able to transcend the negative. That's really what it's about, and hoping that someday somebody will give you a heart-shaped pill that will enlighten you.
Wow, brilliant. Wow. Okay, Dara, with so many artists right now around the world, famous, non-famous, or anything, what set you apart from them?
Where I dig into my vibe is probably what sets me apart. You know, I'm looking at different places to most other artists for my inspiration. I'm not, if they're looking in one area, then I'm looking in another. So wherever you are, that's not where you're going to find me. I want to, if you're doing something, I don't want to be doing it. I'll leave you to doing that. So if you're making, you know, dance music, I'll be doing something completely different. If you're making rock music, I'll be doing something completely different to that. If you're doing whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? I just don't want to. I just don't want to be doing what you're doing.
Yes. Wow.
You know,
originality and uniqueness that set you apart. Wow. Okay, my friend, where they can find you? Can you please tell us your social media platform account, your YouTube, your Instagram, your Facebook page, and your music, where they can download and stream it? Please
yeah,
tell
sure. So if you want to find me, you can. My record label is Kusha Deep. That's KUSHA DEEP, Kusha Deep, and you can find me if you Google me, or you can just Google search my name, DAR.RA, go to Spotify, you'll find all the catalogue. There's probably over about 100 songs on Spotify that you can tune into. There's obviously the videos that you've just seen on YouTube as well. StreamYard's an interesting thing because it sometimes doesn't quite get the quality of the music over it. There's something about StreamYard with music, it's a bit of an odd one. So if anyone wants to hear those singles, I suggest you go to either Spotify or YouTube and actually have a listen to them in the headphones, and you'll hear that there's a full ball production going on behind those songs, as I'm sure you're aware in the studio. So yeah, just I am around. You can't miss me. If you look for me, I'll be there. And there's presence on Spotify. There's presence on YouTube. And if you want to really connect, then friend request me on Facebook, either Dara or Kusha Deep. And I get a lot of friend requests from a lot of people from around the world. And I often hope that they'll sort of, rather than just friend request me and me say yeah, that there'll actually be some dialogue going on as well. So say hello. Don't just friend request me. Say hello. Ask me any questions you want, and I'll do my best to answer you. If I can't, then I'll ask somebody that does know. Do you know what I mean? So, reach out. If you want to friend request me, reach out, talk to me, tell me what you're at, tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. And we'll see if we can create an even bigger family than we've already got.
Wow, thank you so much. All right, on behalf of my show, Marvin Velasquez Songlists show, thank you so much, Dara, for gracing my show. You're such an amazing, brilliant artist. I'm gobsmacked with all your points of view, your music. You are indeed unique, individual artist. Wow. And I hope and pray that this isn't the last, that you will be on my show soon again. Hope to see you soon this December.
Of course. Listen, anytime you want to speak to me, I'll be, you're my guy in the Philippines. But I also want to say to everyone in the Philippines, just stay well, stay healthy, stay together, work together, spread as much love as you can, and just, and reach out for like-minded people, and let's build a community together that we can actually really help and aid and abet each other. Stay strong. And just spread the good word, spread the love, and be there for each other, right? And we'll speak to you. I'll speak to you soon. I want to come and see you when this is all over as well, and play you some music, just like one-on-one, or with a band or whatever. I just want to come over and give you guys thanks. You're an amazing people. The people of the Philippines are amazing people, and I personally love you guys. I've met a few very good Filipino people, man. Do you know what I mean? And they're very spiritual, very kind of well-rounded people. And I just wish, all the blessings for you people. God bless you, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Dara. We love you too. Thank you so much, and look after yourself. God bless you. Thank you, sir. Wow, how was that? That was Dara. Wow. What an amazing artist. Oh my God, brilliant. Very, very authentic. Wow. I salute you. Wow. Marvin Velasquez Songlists show, so proud to have you, actually. Wow. All right. So, having said that, I'll be playing the song from the American singer-songwriter Danny Lynch with the song Gravity. Here we go.
I'm so glad that I found you. You're my very best friend. Can't imagine life without you. Here I am. It's all I can do. You keep me so alive. You're the reason why.
Left me up when I'm down, so down.
That was Donny Lynch's song Gravity. And the next playlist would be Love Struck in London Square, song by the Just Crew of the Philippines, Rico Garcia.
Strolling up Russell Square, gazing down Soho Square, walking through Piccadilly, we found ourselves in Berkeley Square. Love struck in London Square. Eros watch over us, taking some photographs, souvenirs that last forever. We're all together in Leicester Square. Love struck in London Square, and as we dance in Trafalgar Square, holding hands with magic in our eyes. Our hearts became one in Golden Square. Love struck in London Square. Then at Parliament Square, Big Ben started to share. Bells pealed all day to greet us. People stared at the two of us. Love struck in London Square, and as we dance in Trafalgar Square, holding hands with magic in our eyes. Our hearts became one in Golden Square. Love struck, ooh, love struck, love struck in London Square.
That was Ruby Garcia, and the next playlist would be Angel Ko from Mom Ina, a song composition by Maestro Erasmo Rastimali.
Panaginip ko'y ikaw
larawan mo ang lagi kong tanaw. Sa kilos at ngiti mong nakasasabi, ikaw ang lunas at anghel ko sa pag-ibig. Kahit na sinong hadlang, anghel kong tangi, pagsubok at dusa ay kakayanin ko. Sabihin man nila baliw ako sa'yo, basta't ang alam ko ako'y iyo. Minamahal kita, anghel kong tunay. Dalangin ko sa may kapal, kapiling ka. Papira para perurero, sa kilos at ngiti mong nakasasabi, ikaw ang lunas, anghel ko sa pag-ibig. Kahit na sinong hadlang, anghel kong tangi, pagsubok at dusa ay kakayanin ko. Sabihin man nila baliw ako sa'yo, basta't ang alam ko ako'y iyo. Mahal kita, anghel kong tunay. Dalangin ko sa may kapal, kapiling ka. Anghel ko sa ligaya, bigyan mo ng pag-asa. Anghel ko, kailan pa man.
And that was Mom Ina with a song, Anghel Ko. And my next playlist would be from Magdalena Tool, Face the Day. Here we go.
Entertainment news. Everyone is out today. Traffic is everywhere. Subways are packed. Streets are bumper to bumper because people are out facing a beautiful day. Speaking of a beautiful day, in entertainment news, after attending last night's special event, there is no doubt that rising R&B soul artist Magdalena Toll will be taking the music industry by storm. With her new hot single, Face the Day, here it is, Magdalena Toll.
I
That was Face the Day from Magdalena 2. And the next song would be from the Tinator of the Philippines, Jambus Chris, with the song Beautiful in Pain. Here we go.
Close my eyes and think of
untold stories of love in this great big wide world. Love stories to be shared for lovers everywhere, of passion, of attraction, and of tenderness, and wisdom to be learned over my love diaries. Is just to love and to be loved in return. My love diaries, my love diaries, a collection of love stories here in my heart. My love diaries, my love diaries, memorable and so adorable in life. Shared for lovers everywhere, of passion, of attraction, and of tenderness, and wisdom to be learned over my love diaries. Is just to love and to be loved in return. My love diaries, my love diaries, a collection of love stories here in my heart. My love diaries, my love diaries, memorable and so adorable in life. Love stories to be shared for lovers everywhere, of passion, of attraction, and of tenderness, and wisdom to be learned over my love diaries. Is just to love and to be loved in return, and wisdom to be learned over my love diaries. Is just to love and to be loved in return, and wisdom to be learned over my love diaries. Is just to love and to be loved in return. Is just to love and to be loved in return. Is just to love and to be loved in return. My love diaries.
I was so lonesome. All I could do was cry. All my love's in vain.
when the day has been too long and the nights go on forever, when my soul has lost its song, I pretend that we're together. And when I'm flying low and it seems like no one's there for me, you're around to let me know just how much you really care for me. You are my Arizona sun, my painted sky, an oasis in the desert when I need a place to hide. And when the world is cold, I know just where to run, to my Arizona sun. When I'm in my darkest hour and I feel I'm close to giving in, your loving holds the power, and it makes me want to live again. You are my Arizona sun, my golden dream. You're the one that I can turn to when the darkness gets to me. The world can be so cold, but when the day is done, I've got my Arizona sun. If I could only find a way to show you what your love has meant to me, it's the only thing that keeps me going when it gets too dark to see. You are my Arizona sun, my painted sky, an oasis in the desert when I need a place to hide. When the world is cold, I know just where to run, to my Arizona sun. Yes, she's the one. You are my Arizona sun, my golden dream. You're the one that I can turn to when the darkness gets to me. This world can be so cold, but when the day is done, I've got my Arizona sun.
May pag-asa pa at pagkakataon sa krisis na ito. Malapit na ang Pasko, Pasko
Pasko ni Corona, pandemic, Christmas na. Nagdala, pandemya, lungkot ay iwaksina. Labanan natin si Corona, tayo'y magkaisa. Ito ang pandemic Christmas, basbas pa o sumba. Basta't magsaya at lumiligaya. May pag-asa pa at pagkakataon sa krisis na ito. Sa lamesa, ang pandemic Christmas ko. Sa gitna ng Pasko, manalangin tayo. Kabayan tulong araw-araw, Pasko man o di man Pasko. Ito ang pandemic Christmas, basbas pa o sumpa. Basta't magsaya at lumiligaya. May pag-asa pa at pagkakataon sa krisis na ngayon. Ito ang pandemic Christmas, basbas pa o sumpa. Basta't magsaya at lumiligaya. May pag-asa pa